Oh, I'm sure Khorne appreciates what Queek does. You know, like, Khorne appreciates killing no matter who kills or why they kill. So, I mean, Khorne, I'm sure, enjoys the antics of Queek, but, Queek does not serve Khorne or give a damn about Khorne. Lone Sparrow. Dude, I hate editing. I hate it so much. Which is why I pay people to do it for me. Just sending a message for the Crimson Host if you want to... Okay, Garnath. Thank you, dude. Garnath, what time do y'all run dungeons at? Do I have any Amazon facts? I do, actually. Some cool stories about the Amazons. Stony Bridgie is that first is that there's actually two different origin myths of the Amazons. The first myth, which is much more of like a genuine myth, in that it's like very old agey and mythical and got gods and shenanigans involved, is actually that the Amazons are one of the primordial races created by the old ones. So they were like an experimental version of mankind. But they were supposedly, they were created by the old one named Rig. And we know that Rig is like the only old one that is identified as like the old one of like women or females or ladies, whatever. But to the Lizardmen, the concept of gender doesn't make sense, right? Like, they don't understand the concept of male or female, because Lizardmen don't have genders, they don't have sex, they just are. You know, they come from spawning pools. But the Amazons supposedly were a humanoid race created by Rig, who made them immortal. And they wield Old One technology and are like a very dangerous warrior women cult that's been around for ages. That's one theory. Another theory, which is the theory I personally believe, is that when the Norskins first arrived in Lustria, and they were in the town of, they founded the settlement of Skeggi. Many of the women, there were women on the voyage who were called Valkyries. And the Valkyries of the Norskin tribe, eventually the climate, the social climate, you could say, or the Norskin system altered, so that it was no longer acceptable from those Norskins' perspective for the Valkyries to essentially exist. You know, they wanted them to be doing things other than fighting, and the Valkyries refused. The Valkyries refused to lay down their arms and to become wives or like, they refused to give in to this idea that they should serve. So the Valkyries left and went their own way in the jungle, and eventually they arrived in a place called Amazon, what would come to be known as Amazon Island. And there they found an abandoned temple of the old one Rig, and they learned about her and they worshipped her as a god. And because they were humans and they were worshiping the old ones, they developed kind of a mutual non-aggression pact with the Lizardmen. They weren't necessarily allies with the Lizardmen, but they had a lot of respect for the Lizardmen and the old ones, and they knew how to not piss them off. So in exchange, the Lizardmen left them alone. And they were allowed to have Amazon Island and to guard it and take it as their own, where they have passed down over centuries this tribe of warrior women who will occasionally go out and raid various towns or villages or attack travelers to capture men so that they can be essentially breeding livestock to an extent, kind of flipping the script on that. And but they are incredibly powerful warriors. They released a supplement called the Lustria campaign, and there's actually a lot of conversations about the Amazons in it. And one of the conversations that is super funny is that the Amazons are often hired as guides. And there's a part where this guy from the Empire has like a bunch of soldiers from the Empire, from Bretonnia, from Estalia, and all this stuff. And one of the things he talks about is that because they're a mercenary band and they have this Amazon warrior goddess, you know, this like goddess of a woman, just super ripped and skilled and all this stuff, leading them through the jungles of Lustria, he's super worried about how horny the men are getting. But he goes on to explain that he's not worried about them hurting the Amazon because he's seen her like in battle, and he knows that even if all of his mercenaries teamed up on her, she would just fucking obliterate them. Like, she would just eviscerate the entire group and leave them out to be devoured by like horrible monsters and stuff. He's like, I ain't scared about her getting hurt. I'm scared about her killing all my boys and then me being left out here to die. Like, that's the only thing he's scared of. Which is just, it's just great. Like, I super duper love it. But the Amazons, they are a very powerful little society within Lustria because they're one of the only groups of non-lizardmen that have learned how to flourish within the jungles of Lustria. And they make an absolute killing dealing with outsiders because they will offer their services as guides. They'll offer their services as guides, and they can like do maps and tell you about traps and stuff. But if you piss them off, they will not hesitate to absolutely like take your ass and slam it into your face by bending you in half.
Time is of the essence.
They don't give a shit. Alright, so that's going well. The circle of life.
I know the way. Pride of Oswan.
Amazons are the horny police? No, they just, the Amazons, from what is insinuated, like, are fairly horny themselves. It's just that if you don't respect their boundaries, they will absolutely, like, just fold you into non-existence. Alright, Garanath, thank you.
My strength grows.
You get used to it. I'm gonna refund that again because I totally forgot to look that up. I'm gonna write a note though. Whoa, God. I'm gonna write a note right now. What items would I take if given full set when isekai'd into Warhammer? The Amazons are horny, so you're telling me there's a chance? Sure, there's a chance.
You may look upon me.
Whether or not you're ever gonna walk again, or whether or not they're not just gonna like throw you in a dungeon and keep you until you're all used up. But who knows? I'm sure they're absolutely diplomatic when they, a lot of the time when it comes to like negotiating for mates. I imagine they would be pretty strict about it and unforgiving though. Like, if you're not their type, I don't think they would feel bad about like letting you know. Actually, you know what? Let's get rid of another unit of archers. Oh wait, I already have 3 dragons. And I want to keep the Cinder of Beards because he has a cool name. Okay, that's fine.
Noble son of Ulthuan. The enemy will pay.
All right, in that case, let's send Ymrath to join this army.
I am the defender of Ulthuan.
Choose your word. As you say.
Okay, we have a
We stand ready for
military not get in trouble.
Princess of Ulthuan.
Right. All right, good. She is all set for battle. Wunderval.
Greatest of the Dragon Princes.
Alright, we're just gonna start investing heavily in taking over Tyrion's faction. Have Warhammer elf ears always been so small? No, it varies from artist to artist. Hypothetically, what are my chances with Elspeth von Draken? Rovix, I'm not 100% sure, but I feel moderately confident that if you tried to sleep with Elspeth von Draken, it would cause, like, a good portion of your body to just shrivel up and die. I mean, the woman literally radiates death magic. I don't think that would be healthy for you.
The dragon shall wake.
Not to cast your dreams into the fire, but I'm just trying to be real with you, bro.
We will endure.
Don't tempt me with a good time. So what you're saying is,
Defender of the
I could get Snoo Snoo and my life would cease to be. That sounds like a win-win. Have I seen the first chapter of Hammer and Bolter? No, I missed the free day.
Loyal servant.
I am the heir of Anarion, and
I missed the free day, unfortunately, because it was my tournament day, so I was just exhausted. Speaking of which, I need to start scheduling AOS games soon because I really want to start playing a lot more TTS.
Do not let my death mask unnerve you.
No.
Kalita, why we gotta do this every time? Gotta be such a pain in my ass, woman. Give me the damn trade agreement, you harlot! Yeah, I want you to go north and spy for me. Some Chakax lore. Coolest thing about Chakax is that he...
Well, what is it? Do not squander the Dragon Prince's time.
He is completely and utterly successful. Wow, he is like super interested in being friends. Sure, I'll be friends with you, but you're gonna have to pay me for it. Wow, he is... Despite having a strong economy, he does not like parting with his gold. Okay. Probably the coolest things about Chakax, number one, Chakax has never, ever had someone under his charge die. So he has a 100% success record as a bodyguard. Another cool thing about him is that, he has been around so much, like, oppressive levels of magic that he has... Oh, dang it, I need to...
Brave and true. Glory
No, we're gonna
awaits.
keep pushing. He's been around so much magic, like, just incredible amounts of it,
This way.
that he has actually developed a significant resistance to magic. In the sense that he does not, he's able to shake off the effects of, like, intense curses or spells meant to, like, hinder him. Like, to him, he just kind of, like, casually shakes it off and is like, yeah, whatever. Which is pretty impressive, to be honest. Amulet of Foresight. Eh, it's okay. Jewel of Dusk is super good. Reaver Bow is super good, especially for our princess. Yeah, let's take the Reaver Bow for our princess. That's a great item for her. Where is she?
The Druki seek the Widowmaker. Time is of the essence.
What do you have now? Moon Touch Spear? Yeah, that's fine. Have this bow.
Ready
Make me proud.
for the Phoenix King. I light the way. Onward. We march. We lie in wait.
But yeah, Chakax is great. I mean, he's a very stoic character. There's not much story to him, just because it's kind of like whenever he shows up to defend something, he wins the end. Hooray! Which, you know, it's a good story, but it's not exactly like super compelling narrative. He just has a very good win record. What did Ejo Steersborn do to gain Korn's favor? Ooh, I don't know off the top of my head. I'd have to look that up. Ice Frosty Raven, so I'm gonna go ahead and redeem you the channel points for that. I'll have to look that up between streams. Egil Steer. Yeah, Steersborn. And that's my list. Are there any female warriors in the Empire that could be a melee general? Any female characters in the Empire who could be a general?
Your aim, disciplining the enemy.
Ooh, nice. Precisely deadly. Not...
What do you require?
Well, really, you'd have to look to the elector counts. None of the... So the Empire has like a whole thing about they really prefer not to let women fight in battle. Like very broadly speaking, women are not allowed to join the state army. They're not allowed to.
A wise course.
They are not allowed to
Moving out.
enter like the knightly orders or any of that stuff. There are like generally the only way women get involved in the military is through by being wizards, because wizards they don't give a damn. You know, they're way too focused on much more practical, important stuff to worry about what's between your pants. So in light of that, I would have to say that I don't think so. There are definitely some. I think there are definitely some female characters we will see for the Empire at some point. Most notably, we will probably see like Elspeth von Draken is very likely. Trying to think if any others really big off the top of my head. There's just not a lot of big women characters in the Empire. I mean, if you ever want to read a really good book, like kind of covering the subject, there is a series that has an omnibus you can purchase called the it's called the
It'll be no contest at all.
the Blackhearts. It's called the Blackhearts. I would heavily recommend.
I find glory wherever I fight.
Oh wow. That's kind of cool. You get the Resurrection of the Phoenix ability. 8. I would heavily recommend purchasing the Blackhearts and reading it, no matter who you are. It's an amazing series. It's basically like a really well-made D&D campaign, essentially, that takes place in Warhammer Fantasy. But in addition to that, it covers very deeply the whole situation of women in the Empire, like trying to join the military and the stigma that comes with that and a whole bunch of other stuff. How did the elves first come up with the art of teaming up with dragons? So Miscellaneous, that has to do with Kalidor Dragon Tamer. Kalidor Dragon Tamer, who was kind of the first big famous Kalidor, he
The dragons
was one of the strongest wizards to ever live. Easily the most gifted elven wizard to ever live. He had incredible powers and was very, very heavily invested in protecting the world and, you know, all those usual heroic shenanigans. And as a part of that, he one of the things that he figured out was something. He figured out how to, as his name suggests, tame dragons. And the way he tamed dragons was through essentially a very powerful system of magic known as the Dragon Song. What exactly the Dragon Song is has kind of changed a little bit over the years. But essentially what Kalidor seems to have done is that he initially in kind of his experiments created a system, a spell that kind of sounded like music that allowed the elves to force the dragons into obeying them. But he didn't like it. Kalidor was not satisfied with how that turned out, because Kalidor did not believe that forcing the dragons to serve them would end well. He thought that would be a mistake eventually. And that the dragons would not care very much for it. So what he ended up settling for is that he used the Dragon Song to allow the dragons to communicate with the elves. So the Dragon Song is almost like a telepathic connection that is open between the elves and the dragons. And through this connection, Kalidor was basically able to convince the dragons to allow the elves to essentially speak with them. And the elves did that. They talked with them and learned to respect them and to treat them with respect. And this relationship earned the respect of the dragons and eventually their friendship. And it kind of went to this whole thing of the elves really learning the value of having the dragons as genuine allies. The dragons are not pets. They are friends, allies, people, you know, they're individuals that the elves consider very, very close to them. And anything to the contrary, like, there have been elves in the past who have attempted to dominate dragons. That never ends well. Is this shaman just about to get absolutely borked? What? Huh. I guess I used it wrong. I don't like that ability is so finicky.
Taking position.
Moving out.
To me, dragons!
Prince Imrik. The glory of Imrik.
Dragons are like cats? Yeah, I guess you can kind of say that, I guess. All the spells. Just all the spells. I'm not here to play nice. I'm here to kill.
Ulfwan Mage.
Dragons? Shall we?
Ulfwan Mage.
Dragon's Rage!
Alright, let's try this again. Maybe it's because he was on the back part of the wall? There we go. No more shaman.
Fury of the Forge God! Crown Prince moving! Might of the volcano!
My power is yours. Lakoi Soraya!
Bless my ball! The glory of Imrik!
Menlui! Araya Menlui!
A glorious challenge!
Efua! Bend to my will!
Oh yeah, I forgot. We blew the gate open.
Noble!
Charge.
The dragon's roar!
Last time we fought Grimgor, it was a little dicey, so we're gonna be a little more cautious this time with how we engage him. He's all yours, Imrik.
Might of the volcano!
Ulfwan Mage!
I'm gonna fly over him. And he ran away like a little bitch. Come here. There we go.
Scyther, hear me!
Yeah, we got revenge! Imrik got him. Very nice. Dragons, rain hell. You have my permission to engage.
Noble! As you say! Dauntless! Can I be brave?
When in doubt, summon more dragons. Summon the dragon. Play the dragon horn!
Lakoi Soraya!
The Knight of Caledor! Noble! Dragon Princes! Silver! March! It will be done. Orders understood!
Help the wizard.
To victory!
Wielder of the winds!
Good job, lads. Hey, Jin, thanks so much for coming to the streams. And to you, Master of Warhammer, appreciate you guys being here. Why is Imrik's dragon so special? What sets him apart from a standard star dragon? Not a lot. Menachnir is just he's a particularly old, large, and powerful star dragon. So he's kind of like on the older end of that scale. And you got to remember that in most situations in Warhammer Fantasy, the older you are, the stronger you are. There's usually a direct correlation between age and strength. Are all elves able to learn the dragon song? No. Learning the dragon song is a very particular art. And it is definitely not something just easily done by anybody, or casually for that matter. And even if you can sing the dragon song or like understand it, does not mean you're going to like awaken a dragon that is sympathetic to you either. You may go all out on trying to like summon one of the dragons to answer your call and serve you as an you know, work with you as a friend and mount, and it may never respond. It may never wake up, and you may never know why. A good example of that, and someone who was particularly spiteful towards the dragons, was actually Kalador the Warrior.
Standing by.
So Kalador the Warrior, Kalador the Second, aka Kalador, the crappy Kalador, the one that nobody liked, the one that started the War of Vengeance and got his head chopped off by the High King of the Dwarves, who led to the downfall of the Dwarven Elven Alliance, allowed a massive invasion of Ulthuan because he was too focused on the insult done to his pride by the dwarves. That guy, he had the ability to do the dragon song, but he was never able to get a dragon to willingly serve him. He would, like, the dragons, whether it's because they just sensed that something was just wrong with him. Ooh, that army looks super scary.
We stand ready for action.
Trying to wait until I get like an ally or something to help me out. But the dragons did not, they were not interested in serving Kalador II, and he resented them for that. Kalador II hated the dragons. Like, he never let his father know that he hated the dragons, but like, one of the things that the original Imrik, the one that this Imrik is named after, this Imrik is named after the original Imrik, who changed his name to Kalador I, in honor of his ancestor Kalador. But his whole thing was that he did not understand the dragons. He just never got it. He wanted them to serve him as a pet, and the dragons are not pets. They're incredibly powerful, noble, and intelligent creatures, and you can't just whip them into serving you, and he never understood that.
I am the defender of Ulthuan. Understood.
Nice. We got that defensive alliance. The donut is slowly being secured. Oh, we were spotted. All right, let's fall back.
Another time.
Oh, nope, she's chasing us. Okay, so we're gonna have to fight. Oh, this is gonna be spooky. She has a lot of heavy armor. She's also on a manticore, but we're gonna fight as best we can. What's some good lore on Gor-Rok? Probably the best lore on Gor-Rok is that he's just nearly impossible to kill. He's so stupidly tanky, and Gor-Rok does not seem to have a sense of pain. He just literally doesn't seem to sense it, or he's so like determined that he just ignores it. But probably the most famous, his most famous trick, so like his go-to move that's really fun, and that I love whenever he does in the lore, is that whenever Gor-Rok gets charged by like a chariot or a monster or something, that big shield of his, which is called the Shield of Eons, right? The Shield of Eons was crafted from a single colossal meteorite, which in Warhammer Fantasy, things that fall from the heavens, so like meteorites, are always treated with like a sense of otherworldly reverence, like they're like the highest quality stone or metal, like they're just like god tier. And so his is just this giant slab that takes like, I think it takes like over a dozen skinks to even like try to lift it so that Gor-Rok can pull it up with his one arm and hold it. And the damn thing is basically unbreakable, and it's so heavy that whenever Gor-Rok is being charged by a monster or a chariot or something, what he'll do is he'll take his shield and he'll swing it and slam it into the ground in front of him and kind of duck behind it. So he will make a, he'll basically turn himself into a barricade. And so whatever the monster or chariot it is will come slamming into his shield, and if it's a monster, it'll just snap its neck and die on impact. And chariots will slam into him and just explode. Because it's basically like a chariot just running into a brick wall at max speed. Much to the horror of many individuals. Probably my favorite kill scene involving Gor-Rok is his most famous one, when he was sent to retrieve the Star Cella from the Dark Elves. And so this Dark Elf general was leading the fight against Gor-Rok, and he was doing his damnedest to try and like punch his way through the Lizardmen line. And he kind of realized that Gor-Rok was leading the army, so he ordered his chariot to just bear down on Gor-Rok to kill him. And Gor-Rok just sat there waiting for him, and as soon as he got close, Gor-Rok did the thing where he slams the shield into the ground. The chariot slams into his shield and just boom, like gone, right? The Cold One chariot just explodes. But the Dreadlord was so fast and agile that he was basically able to still like somersault. Like he threw himself from the chariot right before it exploded, and he used his momentum to take his lance, and he impales Gor-Rok through the chest. And so he impales Gor-Rok through the chest, and Gor-Rok doesn't even flinch, doesn't do anything, he's all the way through, and Gor-Rok just reaches forward, grabs the dude's arm where he's holding onto the lance, and pulls him and the lance closer to reach forward and rip out his throat with his teeth. Like he just tears his head off with his teeth, and just instantly fucking dead.
Spearman!
Dreadlord got nommed. Like, he saw it coming, but Gor-Rok had him, and there was nothing he could do. It's just one of those moments where I'm like, yep, you fucked up, son. You fucked up.
Princess of Ultron.
Alright, princess. We've got a crone to slay. Dragons! Make me proud.
Another wretched
Hey, Soy Boy Prime! Thanks so much for the Prime sub. I really appreciate it. Soy Boy. That's a term I am very familiar with. I think that's the very butthurt little Nazi communities that get upset with me whenever I call out their shenanigans. That's their favorite go-to insult. Always cracks me up. It's not even a good insult. It's a lazy insult. It's not inventive. It's not impressive. It's like, come on. If you're gonna try and insult me, come on, be a little creative. Try and use something that I've never heard before. Ooh, get out of there.
It shall be done. Setting forth.
Look out.
Without fail.
All right, let's pull Ymrath around because I'm gonna need him to duel Hellebron. I think we can use our Sun Dragon to harass the.
Defending order.
Oh my god, dude! Fly faster, please.
Princess of Ulthuan. It is done.
Good. Swiftly.
For Asturian.
Fire!
Princess of Ulthuan. Slay them.
Eh? That's some damage.
Heralds of the wind.
Spearmen!
Keep firing, archers! Keep firing!
It shall be.
Oh boy.
Archers, it shall be done.
Go back here. Dragon's doing his best over there.
Understood.
Alright, here comes Hellebron. Get that mana core down. Open fire! Chugga, 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 chugga.
What orders? It shall be.
We will obey.
Hold her down! Hold her down!
For order.
Orders received.
We will obey. As you say.
You hold this line, damn it!
Robin Seaguard.
Seaguard!
Orders received. For duty. For duty.
We almost got another. Oh, I gotta get down there.
Noble lady.
Ymrath, come get her! Actually, you know what? She's dead. I'm gonna need you for your breath weapon.
Loven Seaguard.
Asturian wills it.
Come on, lads, bring her down! Bring her down!
To see.
Seal.
Ymrath, you're up!
Up north.
Alright, I ain't got time to watch that. Alright, she's leaving the battlefield at least.
Daughter of Ulthuan.
Let's get the princess out of there.
Draw back.
Kill the Hydra!
Robin Seaguard.
Shields up!
Heralds of the wind.
Heralds of the Wind, I got a job for you.
For order.
Move.
Get out of there.
By your will.
Archers.
Asher advance. To the fray.
Get rid of these.
Robin Seaguard. Yes. Pull back.
Ooh, beautiful breath attack.
Another wretched foul lizard
Something about the heralds.
joins the red host.
lot,
Cursed
back into the
Sotek
fray.
spawn.
Princess of Ulthuan. By Asturian. Champion of order. For Ulthuan.
Reaver bow, fire! Oop, dragon, get out of there.
At your command.
Asturian willing.
Oh, it's looking a little dicey.
Defender of Ulthuan.
Asher, withdraw.
Just a couple more seconds.
Archers. Without question.
Oh, dragon breath is sexy.
Robin Seaguard. To the fray.
Fire!
Assault Princess. It is done.
Archers. Draw back.
Fire damage.
Princess of Altwan.
Another wretched foul lizard thing joins the red host. Cursed Sotek spawn.
Loving the content and the sage lore of the Warhammer world, as always smile.
Hey, thanks. First of all, Onek, thanks so much for gifting a sub, my dude. Really appreciate that. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna win this.
Without fail.
There's just a lot of heavily armored units that have here, you big bitch. A lot of heavily armored units. Oh, Princess is dead. Yeah, that's. Is Imrik unbreakable? Oh yeah, he is. Go, Imrik, go! Just splats that manticore. I'd like to get him out of the forest. Here, you little shits. Come on, take off. The dragon's unbreakable, so he won't run. He'll just keep fighting till he's dead. So if I can get rid of all the shooting, oh my god, it hurts. Problem is, he is super bad at chasing down running units. And Dark Elf shooting really hurts. Gor-Rok shield versus Settra's chariot. Gor-Rok shield would definitely blow up Settra's chariot. Though I think Settra himself would be able to handle Gor-Rok. Oh my god, look at all these halberds. This is a mean Dark Elf army, dude. Down he goes. Ugh, it sucks when the Dark Elves are invading because they usually have their best armies. We're gonna need higher quality troops. It's amazing how just like 3 bolt fire units, 1 hand crossbow unit, and 2 bolt throwers can just do terrifying amounts of damage. Oh, okay. Miss Alora, thanks so much for keeping your tier 1 sub going for 5 months. Loving the content of the Sage lore of the world. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. They took the armor of destiny from me. Oh, that's not gonna fly. Oh, last defenders are dead. But that means I can worry about buddying up with Khalida without having to worry about weird consequences. Alright, so she's dead. That is unfortunate.
Isha bless you.
We need to get I'm just trying to spam growth here so we can get tier 4 and actually get good shit. I think it's time to get a Mage Lord. make everything cheaper. Not bad. Conductor's also pretty good. Ooh, limber. Plus 30% speed and 20 melee defense. That's not bad. Oh, I see we've hired that chick before. Plus 15% income. Oh, you gotta go Incendiary. We gotta go Incendiary. Yep. 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 It's Incendiary time, chat. That way we get a lord that can...
Master of high magic.
She may be a wizard, but she can still whoop some ass. Do unit of Phoenix Guard. And let's get some Silvering Guard coming in. That way we have like a good front line that won't buckle instantly.
Imrik.
How you doing, Imrik? You need one more turn of healing, it looks like?
The Oath Keeper.
Oh, well, it's just that character, so I'm not super worried about that. Looks like... Oh, the dwarves took Black Crag. Oh, that makes my job easier. We could go north to deal with the rebellion. Yeah, let's do that.
A simple crusade. What do you require? The enemy must...
You just keep assaulting units. Hey, is that Chaka Diego in chat? Welcome to the stream, buddy. How good to see you. Some cool lore on Albion. Probably one of the coolest things about Albion is that Albion is actually a place where the largest giants that are still alive are said to live. So, known as bone grinder giants,
You have a proposal?
these ancient colossi are said to still reside on that island, which is a really, really cool thing about them. Like, they are easily twice the size of regular giants.
Master of high
Like, they are
magic.
absolutely obscenely colossal creatures, which makes them really cool but also really spooky at the same time. Other cool things about Albion is that Albion it actually played host to one of the big major wars that took place in the Warhammer Fantasy Universe, known as the Albion Crisis, or Shadows over Albion. And it was called such because Be'lakor, the Dark Master, the Shadow Lord of Mordheim, and known by many other names, Be'lakor actually managed to ground himself in Albion, and he started messing with all of its sacred protections because one of the major nexus points of the geomantic web that the Slann rely on
What do you need?
was non-aggression. Sure, if you pay me. But Be'lakor did his best to actually corrupt the island, to make it where he could physically manifest himself in that place. And it was one of his typical power grabs where he was trying to turn himself into a god again. He almost succeeded, didn't quite work out though. You get used to it. Longbeards often grumble that orcs, goblins, and trolls are much bigger and more dangerous in their day, and that the beardlings have it easy compared to what they experience. Is there any truth to this, or is it typical dwarf broad? So when the Longbeards are kind of on one of their, you know, they're on one of their complaint sprees, they are being honest in a sense, in that for many of them, there was a time where it used to be worse. There are quite a number of dwarves, especially Longbeards, who were alive during what was known as the Age of Woe. And the Age of Woe was literally right after the Age of the War of Vengeance. And it was basically the apocalypse from the dwarf perspective. I mean, it was an age of shenanigans where you had literal, you just had some crazy bullshit going down everywhere. You had stuff like the underway had been cracked open, dwarf holds, which normally like maybe one would fall every few centuries or every 1,000 years or so. They started losing like multiple holds and mines per year. Like it was doomsday for the dwarves. They genuinely, many of them genuinely and moderately correctly believed that it was the end for them. Like they were heading towards the extermination of their people. And so when the Longbeards bitch about how like the dwarves of the modern day have it easy, that's kind of what they're referring to. But a lot of it is kind of bravado or leaving out like exaggerations. That alone is true. But those dwarves have seen some pretty horrific stuff, and they will hold the line until the sun burns out. Hopefully that answers that. Some lore about Egrimm van Horstmann. Egrimm van Horstmann, super duper cool character. I highly recommend his novel to anyone who hasn't read it. You can actually pick it up rather easily these days as part of the Champions of Chaos omnibus. But Egrimm van Horstmann is basically, his story was very interesting. He was essentially a man who grew up in the Empire. He's a native of the Empire, and due to some tragedies that happened in his life and to people that he loved, Egrimm lost some people very, very close to him due to the greed and cruelty of others.
Direct me.
And because of that, Egrimm became very obsessed with revenge. He wanted vengeance, no matter what it cost, and no matter what form that would take. He did not care. So that led him to go on a journey where he essentially tried to manipulate the powers of chaos into serving his ends.
I will hear your plea, mortal.
Mortal? Well, okay. Technically, you're not wrong, listener, but hey, how dare you?
Duty. I will consider any suggestion that aids Tor Ivres. Unthinkable weakness.
But so the thing with Egrimm is that he kind of went on a big situation, and he eventually made his way back to the Empire, had learned a lot about magic, and he returned to the colleges of magic, where he, because he had learned at the colleges of magic, but he eventually went back and joined the Light College. And while he was within the Light College, he discovered an artifact known as the Skull of Cthulhu. And it is a skull of a really, really powerful chaos sorcerer that like eternally whispers secrets. But it can come at a price. And he used the Skull of Cthulhu to learn a lot of things and set a lot of things into motion. And eventually, he made a big hubbubaloo to get revenge on a certain individual. And in his vengeance plot, he threw the colleges of magic into mayhem. He got the patriarch of the Light College killed in like a duel due to some like strings he had pulled. He manipulated the Order of the Silver Hammer. He did a whole bunch of stuff, but he was eventually exposed as a Chaos Cultist. And when he was exposed as a Chaos Cultist, he then unleashed his master plan. He did get the revenge he wanted on a guy who had betrayed, who had done something horrible to someone that Egrimm loved. And granted, the way Egrimm got him was beautiful. And Egrimm went a little over the top, when it came to his punishment, Egrimm van Horstmann basically trapped this guy that he hated. He trapped him in an alternate reality, like a bubble dimension, where he would never age, he would never starve, he would never, like, he would never die. It's impossible for him to die in this other realm. And he was stuck in a box, because this guy was someone who desired to have a lot of control, a lot of power, a lot of influence. And so what Egrimm did for revenge is he trapped him in this pocket dimension where he would live for eternity, and all he could do inside this box is watch all of the things he had controlled in life, all of the things he had desired, fall apart. Egrimm had basically put a whole bunch of plots into motion that resulted in everything this guy built up, every single lasting part of his empire was going to come crumbling down and collapse into utter oblivion and ruin. And he was literally going to be trapped for eternity to just sit there and watch by himself, never able to die, never able to escape. And there was no way out. And that's it. Which is honestly probably one of the most nightmarish things you could do to someone.
Our traditions make us.
Oh yeah, yeah. And when he got, well, of course, the last important thing worth mentioning is there was a dragon. When Egrimm van Horstmann made his escape, because he was discovered as a servant of the ruinous powers. Though granted, he did not sell his soul to Chaos by that point. He genuinely hoped to manipulate Chaos to do what he wanted Chaos to do, and then to get away scot-free, with his soul intact, and like run away and live the rest of his life doing other stuff. So his escape plan to get away from the College of Light is that the College of Light, if you're familiar with this concept on YouTube, there's something called like the SCP Foundation, which is basically the concept of like a secret organization that has various sites or vaults that protect things too dangerous, things that can't be destroyed, that are too dangerous to leave anywhere else. The Light College in the Empire is in charge of protecting all of those like sacred artifacts, right? Or those evil artifacts and stuff. So the reason Egrimm van Horstmann really wanted to get into the Light College, hello other elves, is because he wanted to get to Baldros. And Baldros was a Chaos Dragon, a classic variant, so a twin-headed Chaos Dragon. He was a Chaos Dragon who developed a very peculiar mutation where Baldros cannot die. Baldros is immortal in the true sense of the word. Like completely and utterly incapable of being killed.
We will prevail.
And so during the Great War against Chaos, when Asvar Kul came rampaging down into the Empire and making a general mess of things, Baldros was one of the monsters that was unleashed during this great escapade. And in the aftermath of the battle at the Gates of Kislev, where Asvar Kul was slain and the forces of Order claimed victory, Baldros was captured. But Baldros cannot die. So Teclis got together with a whole bunch of the patriarchs of this soon-to-be founded College of Magic and was like, hey, one of the first super important things we're gonna do is deal with this immortal dragon. And we're going to seal him away to make sure that he can never hurt anyone ever again, because we can't kill him. So we're gonna seal him beneath the College of Light. And they did that. But Egrimm van Horstmann found out about it. So what Egrimm did is during his big jailbreak scene, when he's being pursued by a ton of people from the Empire, especially the Order of the Silver Hammer, who he had been working with, that wanted him dead for being a traitorous rat, he ran deep into the vaults of the Light College and he busted out Baldros. So he frees Baldros from his prison. Baldros goes on a rampage, bursts out of the College of Light with Egrimm van Horstmann riding him, and the two of them escape off into Norska. But this is where Tzeentch finally got him. Because Tzeentch, this whole time, Tzeentch is trying to figure out a way to get Egrimm van Horstmann's soul. He wants Egrimm's soul more than anything in the world. Because Egrimm has been playing a dangerous game by this entire time, basically trying to manipulate the Dark Gods into serving him and not having to, you know, pay the price. So there's this whole game throughout the situation where Egrimm and Tzeentch are constantly trying to play each other for fools and all this stuff. And Tzeentch finally gets him. Because what you find out is that Baldros is a classic Chaos Dragon in the sense that he is very similar to Gor-Rok, where he has both of his heads have a different sentience in them. So one of his heads is like a pure chaos entity, and one of his heads is like a more noble draconic beast. And there was a Tzeentch demon that was running around with Egrimm the entire time, who Egrimm was using as a pet because he had it bound to him. And while Egrimm is riding this dragon, the demon shouts the name of the original dragon, so the dragon starts attacking itself while Egrimm's riding it. So the dragon starts attacking itself, it breathes out a huge thing of fire, and Egrimm gets horribly burned and basically hurled from Baldros' back as the dragon comes crashing down onto the ground. So now Egrimm van Horstmann is in enemy territory because he's still, I think he didn't even make it to Norska. He's still somewhere in the Empire. But he's like completely mangled. His body is burned horribly and he's dying, and he knows he's dying. And so Tzeentch sits there and goes, so it's up to you. It's your call. Either A, you can just die and that's the end, or B, sell me your soul and I'll save your life. That's your choice. So what's it gonna be, Von Horstmann? And Egrimm becomes a Chaos Champion of Tzeentch, and he rides Baldros all the time. Because him and Baldros are essentially bound at that point.
Master of high magic.
Ooh, yes, I would like both those. Yeah, he got cocky. He got way too cocky.
Our cause is noble. What do you require? Their life is forfeit.
Let's see. Oneg. Ska Bloodtail is explained to have wrestled Black Orcs with brute strength, so he's obviously no weakling, but do you think he could defeat Queek in one-on-one combat? I think Ska Bloodtail is strong, physically stronger than Queek. Like, if him and Queek had an arm wrestling contest, Ska Bloodtail would win. I do not think he would beat Queek in a fight, because Queek is a much more skilled combatant. Ska Bloodtail, for his own, just kind of as a note about him, Ska is terrified of Queek Headtaker.
No glory.
Very understandably, I'll note.
In my father's name.
Like, Ska Bloodtail has been around Queek for way too long, and he genuinely believes that Queek Headtaker can read minds. There are a lot of moments in the novels, the Queek Headtaker novels, where you get those scenes of the nation Ska being kind of like the main character who you're listening to dialogue wise, and Ska is very nervous. Like he's just kind of an anxiety ridden mess because he just thinks that Queek is legitimately psychic, which, to be fair,
People arrested.
Queek does genuinely demonstrate abilities that heavily suggest he has supernatural powers as far as like intuition and information. A military alliance? Nah, I want to confederate you eventually. Hopefully that answers that. Miss Solora, if you put Thorgrim Grudgebearer with a gun with one bullet in a locked room with Kalidor the Warrior and Draswath the Ashen, who would he shoot and why? Oh, Thorgrim would... that's easy. Thorgrim would shoot Draswath. Like, Thorgrim hates Kalidor the Warrior because he's like, you know, he's a backstabbing, sniveling, coward little bitch prince. But Draswath the Ashen and the Chaos Dwarfs are a affront to nature. They are a disgusting, repulsive, horrific reminder of an abomination that should not exist. It should not be allowed to exist. Yeah, he would want nothing to do with that.
I would hear the song of dragons.
We are pure of heart.
Warriors.
Damn, I'm trying to catch this orc, but he keeps running away from me.
I will dispatch them.
Oh, I'm not at war with you yet, am I? So I can build walls here. Get on that. Red
You must
rock.
restore order.
Probably should get some walls. And I'm out of money. Yay, I love having no money. It makes me so happy.
Scholar Supreme.
The gods stand with me.
How many more turns do I have to... I have 5 more turns to capture Morglum, but I'm scared... I'm scared Morglum's gonna attack Thorgrim and lose, and then I'm not gonna get that item. I want that item. Yeah, no, if you gave Thorgrim 5 bullets and put him in a room with, like, Manfred von Karstein, Draswath the Ashen, Kalidor the Warrior, and, like, Queek Headtaker, he would shoot Draswath the Ashen 4 times and Queek Headtaker once. Or he might shoot Draswath 5 times and then try and use his fist to just strangle the other 3. What was Tzeentch's greatest accomplishment in Warhammer Fantasy? Tzeentch's greatest accomplishment?
I am a Saurian reborn.
His greatest accomplishment would have to be... Is that Morglum?
Traditions
No.
give me strength.
Morglum, where are you, you big bitch? There he is.
Onward for Kalidor!
See
Seeking
if I can
glory.
lock him in here.
Strategy beyond compare. Follow me to glory.
But yeah. Oh, Tzeentch's greatest accomplishment. The biggest thing that Tzeentch ever pulled off was there was a period where Tzeentch managed to become the strongest of the Dark Gods. He managed to successfully, I don't need defenses here. What am I doing? He managed to successfully claim like the ultimate authority among the Dark Gods, and he relished in it. Unfortunately for him, when he pulled that off, all the other gods were like, hey, truce? And everyone was like, truce. And they all turned around, they just beat the shit out of Tzeentch. Unfortunately for him. Nobody wanted Tzeentch to be in control. Everybody knew that was going to be a total shit show. So Khorne, Nurgle, and Slaanesh put aside their differences, and they literally just started beating the crap out of him. Until he shattered into a bunch of tiny pieces. And lost a substantial amount of his power. Which resulted in the characters of the Blue Scribes being created. Thanks for asking that. Corncob, yeah. So the thing to understand about the Vortex is such a powerful spell that it is basically frozen in time and is eternally going. What? Oh my god. Oh man. Are y'all ready for a fight? Are y'all ready for a fight? The thing about the Vortex is that it's such a powerful spell, that ritual, that it is eternally going. Like, it is literally an endless spell, and all of the wizards who are alive and casting it are in agony, but they are perpetually going. Like, every moment, every second, they are still casting that spell. And if they slip up or stop casting or what have you, then like the Vortex would fail and reality would start to like come undone as magic would start to bleed out in the world, and you would have a ton of demons just everywhere. So they because they're always there and they're always conscious and they're always casting that spell for eternity, basically their job is just to kind of like hold shut a never-ending floodgate, right? So in that incident where Malekith and all of his little wizard friends made the rather idiotic decision to try and disrupt the Vortex, when they did that and all that magic got hurled into the Vortex, it disrupted it, but because it disrupted the Vortex, it allowed Kalidor to break free of casting the Vortex for a moment. So what Kalidor did in that moment is, as the Vortex was destabilizing and this giant god tier spell was slamming into the Vortex, Kalidor turns around and he goes, "No, you," and just slaps that shit right back at them. Literally just takes the magical equivalent of a tennis racket and he just throws up this huge counter spell that bounces it right back at all of the at Malekith and all his buddies. And the spell reflects, hits all of Ulthuan, and that's what causes the actual Sundering event, where the entire island just starts like collapsing and falling apart. And it's because that magical rebound was so absurd that it shakes the entire continent and just cracks a massive amount of it. Like a good third of Ulthuan, maybe more like a quarter, was lost beneath the ocean because of the Sundering. And it was that big dramatic moment where like there were like these huge tsunamis and tidal waves and just a bunch of horrible shit happened. It was not a good time.
Serve the king.
Dragons, let's boogie.
Dragon princes.
Dragon princes, forward!
Make Ulthuan proud.
Ulthuan mage.
The light is Kalidor. Dragon princes, without fail.
Dragon princes, forward!
Scython, hear me. Spellcaster.
And pop.
Lakoi Dario. Acua. Then to my will.
Yeah, that's what I thought, you bunch of cowards. Oh god, fanatics.
Winds of magic rise.
Charge!
Ulthuan mage.
Let's get to work. Oh my lord, a lot of my dragon princes are really hurt.
Ascend! Following orders. Dragon's roar! Spearmen!
Archers!
Archers!
Flip sides! Flip sides!
Forward!
Quickly now!
Dauntless!
Oh, that was very rude.
Builder of the winds.
Spearmen!
Calidor's chosen!
Into them!
Behold the majestic! Fury of the Forge God!
Oh, you bitch. Sound the dragon horn.
Let my ball!
Scython, hear me! As you are, then I will!
Eradicate them!
Noble, kill the giant!
Winds of magic rise!
The light of Calidor! The glory of Imrik! The dragon's roar!
Archers!
Arior!
We go!
Men Louis! Arior! Men Louis! As you are, then to my will!
Come back here, you little pig bitch.
Fireball!
Princes, charge!
Spearman! Prince Imrik! A glorious challenge!
What is even in the High Elf army that I would like to see for the Lumineth? Dragons or phoenixes. But like we know there's some kind of dragon phoenix that represents Tyrion's side of the Lumineth. I would like to see that come out. Because just having like the Lumineth are literally advertised as High Elf descendants. Because when they advertised them, they were like, look, it's like classic High Elves. Aren't you excited? Which is cool and all. But it's weird having High Elves without, like, dragons or some kind of big flying monster. But the other thing I really want them... that would probably be the biggest thing for me, actually. Yeah, we got him! No more pig. Yeah, you die, you stay dead, little shit. Gonna mop up as best we can here. We took a lot of casualties. Suck on this.
Yes, seeking the foe.
Let's do this.
Scython, hear me. Going abroad.
And get rooted. And Eat a burning head.
Glory is mine.
Outward mage. Orior. Lethane.
Silly works.
The Dragon Tamer.
What are some of Imrik's good qualities? Is there more to him than just being arrogant? Oh yeah, I meme about Imrik, but like Imrik does have a lot of noble qualities. Like he is a bit of an asshole because he's from Caledor. He's very pompous. He's very arrogant, and he represents a lot of the more concerning elements of high elf like politics and aristocracy, where he kind of like genuinely believes that he's something very, very special. And if you don't agree with that, then like he can grate on you. But Imrik's very brave. He's extremely brave and is willing to fight against some of the most like horrifying creatures and abominations in order to protect others so they don't have to fight those kind of monstrosities. He's very noble in the sense that he will ride to the aid of others. I mean, Imrik, when Caron, or when Bretonnia was under like a massive assault from the forces of chaos, Imrik like heard about it and he gathered up some dragon riders and led a big fight to go help Luin Leoncoeur because Imrik respects Bretonnia. I wouldn't say he likes them, but he has immense respect for the fact that he considers them like the most civilized of the human races, and he finds the code of chivalry to be something that he sympathizes very heavily with. So like he rode to the aid of Bretonnia without them, like really without anybody asking him to. He just left. There's like, but like as a part of his kind of attitude, there's a really funny note in that particular situation where the Bretonnians share all these the minstrels and stuff sing all these epic songs and poems about how Luin Leoncoeur and Imrik fought side by side on Biaki and this isn't the guy I want. I'm tempted to let him go, but I guess I'll just kill him. Like they fought side by side, and you had Biaki fighting alongside Menathnir and all this stuff. And the Bretonnians talk greatly of that day, but there's a funny little note about how to Imrik the battle was really annoying because he went there to kind of like he wanted to show off, but every time he kept trying to show off and take on the biggest kills, Leoncoeur would beat him. So because Leoncoeur's a lot faster with Biaki, and Biaki's a lot more swift and agile. So he accused it notes that in private Imrik gets irritated with Leoncoeur because he basically accuses him of kill stealing. He's like super salty about it. He wanted all the glory for himself, but he couldn't keep ahead of Leoncoeur fast enough. But Imrik is also incredibly respectful of the dragons. Like, there is literally nothing Imrik cares more about than the dragons. He will even put aside his own arrogance and his own pride over respecting and helping and taking care of the dragons. That's all that matters to him. He genuinely loves the dragons. Big Papa Reinhardt, in lore, should Lizardmen not just dominate other faction because of how strong the Slawn are? Well, the Slawn come with a lot of issues. You have to remember that the Slawn are very busy. They are constantly trying to interpret the will of essentially super ancient primordial dead gods that none of them met, so they don't really know what they wanted, and they're trying to figure it out based on like a bunch of random ass riddles and very esoteric lore left behind by these ancient gods. Also, many of the Lizardmen are like afflicted, or many of the Slawn. During the Great Cataclysm in the War Against Chaos, the very first one. Ooh! Double duplays! How many times have y'all seen that? A fireball take out 2 chariots in a row? That's gotta be a record, right? Oh, they're shooting catapults at me. Oh, well, that's just silly. But, so, what was I saying? Oh, when the Slann, because you have to remember, the Slann literally battled, like, everything. Like, the Great War against Chaos lasted for hundreds of years, and the, what? And the Slann and the Lizardmen, unfortunately, bore the weight of a lot of that, whether they wanted to or not. They didn't really have a choice in the matter. And because of that, it resulted in them having this incident where they literally had to, like, look Chaos in the face. Like, the very concept of Chaos given form. You know, that whole situation of, like, you look into the abyss and the abyss looks back. It was that kind of scenario where they looked into Chaos, and what they saw was so incomprehensible, so mind-bendingly horrible and evil and sinister that they just couldn't handle it. Like, and through that gap in reality, Tzeentch cursed them. Tzeentch inflicted this big curse on the, he inflicted this massive curse on them to make it where the Slann would be lethargic, where they would like struggle to center themselves in reality and suffer from all these immense problems caused by the fact that they had basically stared into the eye of ruination itself. And had to suffer the consequences of doing that, because that's just not one of those things you just get to walk away from. You know, the Slann basically had God-given PTSD. And it's just not something you can just walk off, you know? It's something you kind of have to deal with, and it took the Slann until very, very recently, all things considered, for them to figure out what the hell was going on. And Lord Mazdamundi was the one that figured it out. Once Lord Mazdamundi realized what was going on, and that the Slann had basically been tricked into this, like, really lethargic state, Lord Mazdamundi figured out how to dispel it. Like, he literally figured out how to, like, look at the power of a god and be like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm not gonna let that slow me down anymore. Like, I'm not going to allow this god of magic and chaos and ruination to tell me what to do. He can eat a big fat one. Which is not an easy thing to do, to tell Tzeentch to, you know, just eat it. But he did, because Mazdamundi's a badass.
The light of Caledor!
But that's why the Slann don't dominate everything. They're busy, is the general consensus. Also, a lot of people don't realize, but the Slann actually do some really important jobs. One of the most important things that the Slann are constantly busy doing is that they are watching over what's known as the Great Warding, which is basically that they took the geomantic web, which is this giant webway network, right? Ley lines across the planet. It kind of looks like a giant web over it. And the geomantic web, like, it needs to be taken care of. Like, they have to, like, monitor important positions to make sure they're not being attacked, or if there's, like, some kind of natural issue going on, they need to, like, psychically focus on it and deal with the consequences of that. Whether that's like making sure that they, like, reroute the flow of magic, or deal with an invading force, or set things in motion so that another faction will deal with an invading force. And they also protect the world from demonic threats that are not physical. So a lot of the times, the demons of chaos are constantly trying to push the borders of the realm of chaos. Like, they are always trying to push the northern and southern Chaos Wastes towards the rest of the world so that they can get close enough to start invading it and manifesting themselves. The Slann, whenever it looks like they're sleeping, they're actually not sleeping. They are astral projecting their souls into these spirit forms, and the spirits of the Slann basically go zipping around the world looking for problem places and going like, okay, we need to tune up this little spot. I'm gonna use some magic to fix this. Oh, there are demons like escaping through this hole. I'm gonna slap these demons and force them back. I'm gonna banish them back to the realm of chaos. Like, they're just basically doing maintenance work constantly. Just absurd amounts of maintenance. You know, they're the custodians of the planet. They're the plumbing service. They make sure all the crap stays where it's supposed to stay. The crap in this case being the forces of chaos. So that's their job. Who's considered the strongest of the dark gods and why? It changes depending on various, like, what's going on in the world. So, like, if you took a snapshot of our world right now with, like, COVID-19 rampaging across the world, because there's, like, a big pandemic and a big disease that's running around and causing a lot of death and despair and nastiness, Nurgle would be the strongest. When like, there's massive magical feats going on, or major innovations in knowledge or technology, or some great scheme is happening across the world, whether it's like a plot to take over a government, or like any number of things, Tzeentch will ascend to be the strongest. When things are generally more peaceful, so there's not as much warfare going on, or for whatever reason some particular race is having a lot of like celebratory feasts and stuff, because maybe they're like they've just like won a major war, so they're doing a lot of partying, or like some major event has occurred that makes it where the race or army in question is like,
what news?
Just going crazy, or they're engaging in a lot of excess or indulgence, or who knows what, then Slaanesh may ascend to be the most powerful. But generally speaking, the most powerful god most of the time is Khorne. Khorne is nearly always on top. It is very, very rare that anyone, or that, well, it's not like insanely rare, but it's fairly rare that Khorne is not top dog. Because being the god of war, or the god of blood and battle and all that nastiness, Khorne gets a lot of goodies just all the time.
High mage, master
in a world like Warhammer's, being the god of hatred comes with a lot of perks, being that you're probably doing pretty well for yourself. Holy Artist, hey Sotek, do you know of any relation between the Fey Enchantress and the Wood Elves? Yes. So it's kind of a confusing thing because the lore was really inconsistent on it. But in the lore, most evidence suggests that the Fey Enchantress is actually an elf. Like, she is a elf. She is supposedly a wood elf. Now, there's been a lot of miscommunication between various authors at the Black Library especially, and it's not for sure if Morgiana Le Fay is merely believed to be an elf by some individuals, or maybe she just is like an exceptionally long-lived human, or maybe she's just a human that constantly passes down the role. But it is the most likely theory, and the theory that has the most support, is that the Fey Enchantress is actually an elf. She just she doesn't, I wouldn't say she like super hardcore hides it, but she vaguely hides it. And so
I always do.
But she represents the Lady of the Lake, who we know is a elf goddess in and of herself. The Fey Enchantress spends a lot of time going back and forth between Athel Loren and Bretonnia. Yes, yes, that is correct. Morgiana Le Fay is based on yes. You have to remember, Bretonnia is Arthurian legend, right? King Lewin Leoncoeur is based off King Arthur. There's a Mordred character named Malabad. There's a I do think we will put walls. Oh no, this is Flaybrock. You know, they're all over the place. Oh shit, Lothern's under attack. Look at that.
And destruction.
A Count Noctilus. I'm tempted to go help, but I kind of would not mind if Lothern blew up and I could take it for myself.
The dragon shall wake.
Alright. Our goal right now is basically to connect our empire to the ocean. That's what we're trying to do at this moment. Is that we're basically going to fight our way across the Badlands to get to one of these, to get to, Grunty Mingol. That is our target. Because if we can control a port that connects directly to the rest of our empire, then we can trade with the rest of the world, which will be super nice. You know, being elves and everything. Give me something good about Wurzag. My favorite thing, there's a lot of funny things about Wurzag, but my favorite thing about Wurzag is his squiggly beast. So a lot of people don't necessarily recognize this because it's a well-hidden detail on his model. And if you don't really pay attention during his campaign, you might not notice it. But Wurzag has a cage on his back, and inside the cage is this little squig-looking creature, and it's called a squiggly beast. And the squiggly beast is actually a former associate of Wurzag's. It's another shaman. Because Wurzag has this super bizarre ability he can do where he can literally turn someone into a squiggly beast by just like looking at him really angrily. Because greenskin magic is weird and breaks all the rules. Oh look, it's Quick Head Taker.
They are not.
What? No. The Court of Liberus is allies with Queek Headtaker? What BS is this? Well, I'm just gonna mess this relationship up. Oh yeah. Time for me to be a grossly overbearing significant other. We'll just help that relationship fall apart.
Master of Drakes.
I'm doing my part.
The Assa are troubled. What do you require? Moving out.
How's everybody doing tonight? Everybody have an okay day? I know it's a Monday, so, you know, not typically everyone's favorite day of the week, but I hope y'all are enjoying yourselves. Was that the end of the lore fact? It can be. Do you want to request more? I can give you more. Wurzag, here's a really funny fact. Wurzag is actually basically the closest thing the Greenskins have to like an architect, like a guy who really enjoys and has a habit of like overseeing construction projects, because Wurzag tends to be the shaman who instructs tribes on how to build like idols of Gor-Rok and idols of Mork. But in particular, he teaches them how to do this in order to deal with certain scenarios. So like one of the biggest things that Wurzag has been instrumental in Greenskin culture for helping them deal with is the Tomb Kings. Because the Greenskins are actually terrified of the Tomb Kings because they don't like fighting the Deadens. Because the Deadens play by different rules and they're just spooky. And Greenskins are very prone to being easily spooked. And so Wurzag, to solve the Deadens problem, has been going around instructing the Greenskins on how to build big idols and stuff and charge them with proper Gorky powers in order to... It basically forms like a magical barrier that repulses the Tomb Kings. So it actually forces the Tomb Kings to like resort to destroying these idols or bringing along significantly powerful wizards in order to deal with it, which is kind of hilarious. Call the Great Herds! +5 speed for everyone. Want some speed, chat?
On to adventure. Follow the dragon.
Oh, nope. Damn it.
You may look upon me.
I moved too fast.
Follow me to glory.
Man, Kalita, I was in the bathroom the other day, and I'm like, listen, I'm only telling you this because we're friends. I just want to know, like, I've heard Queek talking shit about you behind your back. Like, I'm not trying to start something between the two of y'all. Like, I know you're good friends, but like, he was throwing shade at you, man. Like, he was saying some nasty stuff about like your mask and like all this other stuff. Like, I don't know, man.
We have shaped this.
I'm just saying, you know, like real friends don't talk about behind your back like that, right? You know? Like, I would never do that. I would never manipulate or like lie to you and like, you know, talk shit behind your back to other people. I would never do that. I like that the high elves in Total War Warhammer are basically just like ultra gossip girls. You might have answered this already, but do you know who forged Kolek Suneater's hammer? Oh, Star Crusher?
Chance to look
Ooh.
better.
If memory serves, I think that Star Crusher was made by the Dragon Ogres. Like, I think Kolek made it himself. And if it wasn't Kolek, it was probably just some kind of it was either some kind of Chaos Smith. Sometimes demons will forge magical items. It's rare, but it happens. Kind of like it's gifts from the gods. And sometimes, yeah, any number of things can happen. But it was more than likely the Dragon Ogres themselves created it. But I would have to dig into it and try and like get some context clues. I don't think they directly state who was responsible for crafting it. All right, we just got to get their relationships a little bit lower, but I'm going to go ahead and focus on just pushing towards the ocean.
Peace and bless you.
Noble son of Ulthuan.
Oh, we could take Stone Mine Tower too. Okay. That would probably be the fastest route, right? Yeah, take Bitterstone Mine and then Stone Mine Tower.
My life,
Be sure you do not waste my time.
my solemn duty.
Protector, the lady grants you.
King Lewin. I am King Leoncor. Yes.
Dude, Leoncor is getting absolutely obliterated right now by freaking Rakarth. We need to throw down with Rakarth. Rakarth is a character I absolutely want to beat with Imrik. The supposed master of beasts. I'll show him who's the real Beastmaster. Because my dragons fight with the power of friendship. What's my favorite Bretonnian moment? My favorite Bretonnian moment... I mean, probably some of my favorite moments.
Your precious trees for a change, are you?
I really love the story of when Gilles Le Breton dueled King Lewin. When King Lewin Leoncor dueled the Green Knight and beat him. That's a really cool story. Especially because of, like, when he chops off his head and the Green Knight just casually is just like, good job, and just puts his head back on. I really like the story of the Red Duke. Just everything that happened with the Red Duke was an incredible story. It's super sad, but it's wonderful storytelling. Where, like, the Red Duke was this, like, genuine badass who was, like, a super noble Knight of Bretonnia. And then he ends up losing himself to vampirism against his will, like Abhorash. Like, he literally gets poisoned. That's because the Arabians were terrified of the Red Duke, which is why they called him El Sif, which I think means, like, I think that means like the northern wind or the western or the east. It's either the northern wind or the western wind, one of the two. But they were terrified of El Sif. And so the way they actually defeated the Red Duke, in hopes of, you know, winning the war and bringing it to an end, was that they poisoned him. The Northern Sword. Thank you. Yes, that's what it was. The Northern Sword. Like, they fought dirty. The Arabians basically got a whole bunch of poisoned arrows, and they lured him into a trap, and they shot him with, or I think an assassin stabbed him, actually. I don't think it was an arrow. I think it was a knife. But he gets stabbed by a envenomed weapon that was going to result in him having a very slow, painful death. But he was okay with it. Like, as far as he was concerned, he died, like, fighting for his country and upholding the tenets of chivalry by trying to protect people who couldn't protect themselves. And he basically kind of had a moment of, like, I'm okay with this. Like, I'm suffering, but... And you end up finding out that the reason he even got lured into the trap in the first place was basically because of betrayal from his fellow countrymen. Like, there were people back at home because he was the brother of the king at the time, the king of Bretonnia. And he, you know, he was the duke. He had a lot of power. And back home, there were some people who wanted him to no longer have power, and so they betrayed him. And he was, they were hoping that he would have him murdered, but Abhorash found him. And when Abhorash found him, like, the Red Duke very quickly figured out what Abhorash was, and that he was this, like, absurdly powerful vampire. And he, like, he did everything in his power to try and get away, which was virtually nothing because he was paralyzed. Like, he was paralyzed. He couldn't move. There was nothing he could do, and he just sees this horrifying monster bearing down on him. And Abhorash is basically talking to him, telling him, like, hey, like, I know who you are. I've heard of you. And, you know, you're a very noble man, and I'm not going to let you die like this. Like, this, you don't deserve a death like this. You deserve a better death. And El Sif is just sitting there like, no, like, leave me alone. Do not touch me. Like, he just wanted to die. So Abhorash gives him the blood kiss, and still the Red Duke is trying to just die. So he's like, to put in perspective how much of a badass the Red Duke was, normally when people receive the Blood Kiss, over the course of about a few, at best, over the course of a few days, they will go crazy and start like attacking people. Like I think Abhorash, when he originally turned into a vampire, managed to hold out for a few months, which was like a legendary feat. But most vampires, if they're lucky, can resist the urge to not just start ripping people apart for like a few hours, maybe a few days. And so you have this whole situation boiling up, and
what would you have of me?
it results in
Dragon.
so the Red Duke, because the people find him alive. Come on. Oh, they refuse to join. Oh, they refuse to join their side. Good, good.
No contest.
My ploy worked. Khalida is still friends with me and is no longer friends with Weekhead Taker. Excellent.
All Calador rejoices.
But anyway, so El Sif ends up, or the Red Duke ends up resisting the curse of the vampirism for months. Like, he is literally put into a, like, they thought he was dying. All the Bretonnians thought he was dying because he was going through the effects of turning into a vampire, which are basically like dying. So everybody thought he was dying, and he's like trying to resist the urge to go crazy and start killing his own people and like murdering his own like friends and colleagues, and he's doing everything he can to resist. And eventually what it boils down to is he they wrap him up, and he wanted to die there, but they were like, no, he should die at home. He should die at home in Bretonnia. Let's take him home. So the whole journey back from Araby to Bretonnia, so from like here all the way back to here, the Red Duke is in agony, caught between life and death, being turned into a vampire, and resisting the urge to go berserk and murder and drain all of his like attendants and allies and stuff. And as he's making his way back, just tragedy after tragedy after tragedy keeps happening. Like if his wife, when his wife finds out that he died, because the people who are trying to manipulate taking over the Red Duke's position, you know, basically lie to his wife, and they're like, oh yeah, your husband died, like he's dead. She loved him so much, she ends up killing herself because she can't live without him. So he gets home and finds out that his wife committed suicide because she thought he was dead. And then he, as he's paralyzed, and his family, who are backstabbing him, believe he is, they believe he's dying, right? And that there's no coming back from it. He ends up figuring out, because they're talking around him while they think he's paralyzed, he ends up putting two and two together and realizing that his family betrayed him. Like, the whole reason he ended up paralyzed, the whole reason he met Abhorash, the whole reason he his wife died was because of these people who are supposed to be his family members. And then he dies and turns into a vampire. And when he wakes up as a vampire, he just goes on a massive revenge spree and just starts like murdering the shit out of everybody who betrayed him. But once again, going further into the tragedy, to make things worse, Abhorash, or what's his face? The Red Duke, he was, because of how he misinterpreted some facts about the betrayal, because of the way he was hearing it, he believed that everybody betrayed him.
I am your brother, but do not forget I am also your better.
Like, he genuinely thought that everybody betrayed him, including his brother, the king. So when the Red Duke goes on his big rampage across Bretonnia, he's not showing mercy to anybody because he thinks everybody backstabbed him. And this war ends up culminating in the Red Duke battling his own brother, who's the king of Bretonnia. And the two of them there's this big epic final battle of this massive legions of undead and traitorous knights versus all of the noble knights of Bretonnia. And the king loves him. Like, the king loved his brother more than anything. And, like, did everything in his power to try and get through to the Red Duke and try and get through his madness in order to save him. Because, like, he didn't even care that he was a vampire. He still loved his brother. But he just couldn't get through to him. And so they have this big epic final battle, and they both go in for this big charge against each other, and on the charge, the king manages to spear the Red Duke with his lance through the Red Duke's heart, so he kills him. But
Ready to serve.
The Fey Enchantress, who may have been Morgiana Le Fay or may have been a different Fey Enchantress, it's not exactly clear. The Fey Enchantress knew that the Red Duke was not permanently dead. He was only dead so long as he stayed in that coffin.
I serve the Phoenix King.
And so she told the king, okay, we need to destroy the Red Duke's body. Like, he's a vampire, he's gonna come back, we need to kill him. Like, we need to make sure that his body is burned to a crisp and nothing remains of him. That way he can never come back. And the king looks at her and says, no. I realize that you speak with the authority of the lady, but I speak with the authority as the king, and you will not desecrate my brother's body. Like, he was, like, the greatest man this country ever had, and I will not let you dishonor him by burning his body and, like, trying to erase him from existence. So the king has the Red Duke buried under, like, a big memorial. And the Fey Enchantress says, okay, well, at least let me enchant the casket to make sure that he stays at rest. And the king says, fine. So they bury him, and all that jazz. And the super shitty part is you find out that the Fey Enchantress essentially lied just a little bit. Because what she failed to mention to the king was that no matter what, ultimately, the Red Duke was going to, you know, come back. So the runes she put on the casket were not designed to keep him asleep, keep him dead. The runes were designed to make sure that he could not get out. So the Red Duke, some years later, whether decades or just mere years or decades, wakes up and he's stuck in a tomb. He's literally in a casket and he can't get out. Like, he's literally just stuck in the dark, not able to get out, not able to free himself, and he's literally just left there screaming in the dark, unable to feast on any blood, which for vampires literally means they're just going to be completely going insane. And he ends up trapped there for hundreds of years.
Imrik, be ready for
And the Fey Enchantress, knowing that he would kind of still be alive in there, wanted to make absolutely sure that nobody was going to get him out. So she, after the king dies, the king of Bretonnia, she goes behind the king's back and makes absolutely sure to erase every single record of the Red Duke. So make sure that his name is erased from every single record they can find.
As it was meant to be.
So there's no mention of him anywhere. That way, people hopefully will not ever learn of him, and no ambitious necromancer or sympathetic vampire or whatever will try to free him. And this ends up completely backfiring, because eventually he does get out. Eventually, a necromancer does end up releasing the Red Duke after he finds out about him. And because when he gets out, he was trapped in a literal hellscape.
When I sit on my throne, you can begin.
He was trapped in a literal hellscape for so long that he's just completely insane.
Agree.
Like, he is beyond the realms of insanity. And no longer, like, understands, like, what even time period he's in. Like, as the Red Duke is running around trying to get revenge against Bretonnia, he basically keeps thinking that he's in, like, a different time period. Like, he keeps referencing armies that aren't there, or enemies that died ages ago, and all this other stuff. And, like, the necromancer that's running around with him is, like, having a super hard time trying to be like, yeah, dude, all the people you're talking about are already dead, man.
Master of high magic.
But it's just a super sad story. Where, like, you don't, like, the Red Duke is a very pitiable creature. And the way they end up defeating him in that so the first time he when he comes back,
Smell the rodent's fear.
one of the really sad things is that the way they end up beating him is he ends up dueling this like really powerful Grail Knight. I can't remember if it was the king or if it was a Grail Knight. I think it was just the king, or just a Grail Knight, not the king. But he ends up dueling this powerful Grail Knight, and a damsel of the lady ends up revealing to him, kind of tricking him into learning that this knight is the descendant of his brother. So the Red Duke ends up realizing that the man he's about to kill is related to him, like is his kin, and it just completely drives him off the deep end. Like, I can't remember if it was, actually I think he was a descendant of the Red Duke himself, not the Red Duke's brother. I think the Red Duke's wife had a child, but he didn't know about it. Either because, like, the people that were trying to supplant him, like, hid the birth or something happened. But if I remember correctly, it was actually the Red Duke's direct descendant that he was about to murder. Like, he was about to basically kill his own grandson. And that information just completely makes him lose his mind. And he ends up just, like, running away, screaming into the night because he's just totally lost himself. And he ends up running to the forest of Chalon, where he remains until the end times. It's just a sad story. Like, he's a great character, but his story is super duper sad.
Protector of Ulthuan.
So CA needs to hurry up and make him playable.
Asur Lady.
Does he become perma-crazy? Yeah. In the end times, it's implied he gets his sanity back a little bit. And he ends up going to fight alongside Bretonnia and Abhorash during the end times. But, you know, we don't get to see a lot of him. Would dragon's blood cure his insanity? Probably not. His insanity isn't really caused by the curse of vampirism. It's just all of the horrible mental trauma he went through. When is the next podcast episode? The next podcast episode is on... Let me check. need to make an announcement about it anyway, don't I? Let's see. Oh, I put it on a calendar somewhere. Let me see. It's gonna be this Thursday. Thursday the 26th, normal usual time. Can I play the Red Duke for next stream? I'm probably gonna take a pass on that. We might do something like that for like a mod stream, because I do want to have like mod days that we do sometime, but I'm really wanting to finish the Imrik campaign before I start anything else.
Assyrian guides our hands.
I'm not wanting to. I don't want to be running multiple campaigns at once. I know some people do that, but that's not really what I want to do. The Western Badlands. Why? Fine, but why? Let's see.
If what you seek is for the greater good,
No glory. Do not expect pleasantries.
You require assistance?
Oh, Teclis has a thing here.
Half-wit.
Half-wit?
Hoeth's disciple.
Go after this rogue army.
Do not tarry. Unfathomable knowledge.
order must be maintained.
Effigy Power, thank you very much for the hydrate. I appreciate that. Thank you. No, we got Malagor. He's coming right for us.
The Vortex calls.
Oh, you need items, don't you? Are there any audiobooks? Yeah, there's some audiobooks available. I know the Gotrek and Felix series has been making really good progress lately with audiobooks, so I would highly recommend that. Trying to think. There are some out there. I don't know how many there are. Thank you for all the follows today as well, by the way. We have quite a few new people joining up. Appreciate that. Will Malice be back in Warhammer Fantasy as a faction? I highly doubt it. Games Workshop does not own the rights to Malice. The Chaos God Malice. Oh, I just realized one of my lights is off. The Chaos God Malice is owned by is owned by an individual who was the original creator. And when Games Workshop apparently tried to keep him, I believe he ended up suing them and they lost. Or they sued him and they lost? I don't remember what exactly happened. But to my understanding, the rights belongs to a different creator. And unfortunately, Games Workshop are some of the biggest assholes in the universe when it comes to copyright kind of stuff. So they tend to piss people off, which makes people not want to help them or, like, play nice with them, because they don't play nice with others, so why should those people play nice with them?
Glory awaits. As you were, a simple crusade.
Ooh, I'll take, physical resistance.
Come, Drake, tell me truths.
Dragon Rider. March for Calador.
In your opinion, who was a better Blood Dragon, the Red Duke or Wallach Harkin? I mean, Wallach Harkin is the like the best representation of what Blood Dragons are. Wallach is the ultimate representation of like the super Wallach is that, like, big representation of them where they think they are these super awesome, like, noble knights, but in reality they are horrific monsters that are only pretending, essentially. Like they're playing at being heroes, and they're not. They are in many cases monstrous abominations or almost like wild animals that prey on others. Wallach is the perfect representation of that idea. Like when you're dealing with like what blood dragons actually are, Wallach Harkin is the like true representation. I do think the Red Duke has a more interesting backstory because we actually know his backstory really, really well. We don't know a lot about Wallach. Wallach is a fairly underdeveloped character, kind of like Abhorash.
You must restore order.
We know more about Wallach than we do Abhorash, but like Abhorash founded the Order of Bloodkeep, which are what we kind of know as the Blood Dragon. Like when you play with Blood Knights, that unit essentially exists because of Abhorash. Is there a Grim Reaper character in Warhammer Fantasy? Yes. Do you mean as like? How do you mean? Like, do you mean like aesthetically, or like as like the personification of death, or like the like a spooky specter with a scythe? Because like Karen Wraiths are literally just Grim Reapers, like design. Oh my god, that is so many Savage Orcs. I mean, I'm gonna fight, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna lose this. Does Abhorash not keep the other blood dragons in check? No, Abhorash doesn't babysit them. Abhorash is more like a hermit at this point. Like, supposedly, Abhorash hangs out somewhere on the peak. Abhorash hangs out on the peak of the mountain where he slew the red dragon. That was like the big culminating moment of his myth. And that's just where he hangs out now. There supposedly he is always there. We know that's not entirely true. Like, he does seem to wander around. But yeah, he does not. Abhorash is not kind. Abhorash does not give a crap about anybody. He thinks of himself as very noble, but he's very cruel. We see that in what happened with the Red Duke, where like there was just a lot of unfortunate nastiness behind that whole situation. But yeah, Abhorash is a monster in and of himself. He has never been a kind or gentle creature. He has always been cruel and arrogant in a sense. Like, he is more noble than many vampires, particularly when you compare him against the likes of like the Lamians or the Necrarchs or the Strigoi and all that stuff. But like, don't allow his reputation to fool you into thinking that he's actually noble. He's still a bastard. Abhorash is probably Abhorash has a code of honor, but he does not enforce it upon those that are essentially his followers, his children, and he does not care to protect the weak and the innocent from big bads. He does not care. What can we expect from monster units to the Cathay roster? Oh, I'm a terrible person to ask for that, man. I don't know a lot about Chinese mythology. And that's where you're going to want to look. What, you know, what are the big beasties in Chinese mythology? Maybe like lion turtles. I know lion turtles are a pretty popular critter. In Chinese myth, there's also actually spread out wide. Oh god.
Spearman.
I did not think that was the foot of Gor.
We go quickly now. Archers, purify.
Oh god, there's a whole nother tower. Oof, please stop doing that. Wurzag.
Spearmen! Illyrian archers! For Albion! Astor, attack!
Lothen Seaguard, forward for duty.
Archers! Purify!
I want to dive in on Wurzag. We still got a lot of bodyguard. What are you doing?
It shall be done. Apace! Battle calls!
Man, Wurzag is messing me up.
Silver helm! Set it forth! Illyrian archers! By Illyrial!
Yeah, there's no way in hell we're keeping this settlement.
Direct me! Yes!
As you say. Sinath!
Loyal!
Oh,
Atur, withdraw!
Acknowledged! Archers! As you say, it will be done!
Archers! To battle!
kill the giant!
Loyal!
No?
Move! Archers! Acknowledged!
Yeah, we'll stay up here for right now.
Lackey!
Here, have a useless buff.
Northern Seaguard!
Oh, Savage Works Pickens are so mean.
Loyal! For duty, it shall be done!
Draw back!
By
gates open.
Albion! Sinner!
Archers! Swiftly! At once!
Oh.
Answer!
Oh god! Oh man. The AI actually knows how to use the lore of the Big One. It's so scary.
Pull back!
Yeah, we're gonna have to make a character to go north into the mountains and slap around the orcs. Let's see. Hold on a hot second. Oh, okay. Is that how it was in tabletop playing Greenskins? No, Greenskins were very difficult to play in Greenskin. Greenskins were very difficult to play in Greenskin. Greenskins were very difficult to play in tabletop. Like, I had a lot of respect for anyone that tried. They were not an easy faction to play. They unfortunately came with a lot of growing pains due to like animosity. Animosity was a very brutal rule where like the Greenskin army a lot of the time just wouldn't do what the player wanted it to. I will say that large armies of Savage Orc Biggins led by Wurzag were popular. Wurzag was a very popular character. Or at least a Savage Orc Savage Orc Great Shaman that you would take that way you could take the give them a 5-up ward save instead of a 6-up ward save by giving them like a thing that I forget what it's called. There was an item you could give them. The Shrunken Death Head, I think. Yeah, I'll fight some Chaos boys. Yeah, Black Orcs were very expensive in tabletop, and they also, their stat line was worse than it had any right to be. Black Orcs were weapon skill, what, 4? And they really should have been weapon skill 5 at minimum. Also, they just had regular heavy armor. They should have had a 4-up armor save for their armor, not a 5-up. Oh, we've got allies coming in. That's nice.
Archers. Eagle claw. Acknowledge.
Archmage.
We've got a gold wizard.
Spearman.
With a very elite bodyguard.
White lions.
It will be done.
What would I like to see for new units for the Greenskins and AOS? I mean, the Greenskins are seeming pretty good. The big thing I want is I want chariots. So the Ironjaws need a boss on a pig. Right now, the Ironjaws do not have a pig-mounted character. They just have pig units. So I would really, really like to see them get a pig character of some kind. That way they don't always have to take a Maw Crusher. I'd also like to see the Bone Splitters get a special character of some kind, like a Wargog Prophet special character like Wurzag, but you know, something new and shiny for AOS. So maybe some kind of big orc riding on a some kind of orc shaman riding on like a big old creature, like a large. You know what? I think the cool thing for them would be to have it be some kind of like giant super chariot. So kind of like the new Killer Rig that the 40k orcs got. I think something like that for the Bone Splitters would be cool. Where you just have like a giant you just have like a big ol' honkin' what's the word I'm looking for? Just like this giant machine type thing. Not a machine, but like just this large contraption made out of like beast bone that's pulled by large creatures and stuff.
Duty. Move. Loyal. Apace.
Archmage. Witness true magic.
archers! For the king! For duty! For duty!
Who's stronger physically, Black Orcs or Bestigors? A Black Orc would be able to overpower a Bestigor in raw strength, but it would be close. It would be super close. A little closer, a little closer. A little closer. Fire! Good shot. I think we only got one, but it still counts.
Eagle claw!
Spearmen!
For Asturias!
What do you think of the Ogre mercenaries you can get? They're all right. I've never been a fan of the concept of mercenaries in a lot of video games. Well, that's not true. I am a relative purist when it comes to like army designs. So like I don't like ogres touching my elves or dwarves touching my empire. Like I like my things separate. I don't like my food mixing.
Witness true magic! I summon the wind! Carried by the wind!
Like the only real mercenaries I don't mind as much are like ogres in the Empire, just because that's such a well-established relationship. But even that, like, I'm not as big of a fan of as I like people probably would think I would be. I just like races kind of being able to stand on their own, and I find that mercenaries tend to introduce problems. Granted, like I'm not gonna like complain about it most of the time. I did complain about the Ogre mercenaries, and I stand by my complaint that I felt that adding them in now was very bizarre, because it really felt like they could have invested the energy they put into the ogres into fixing the Lizardmen, or into like giving us maybe like a unit of dwarfs to like a new dwarf hero or lord to come alongside with Thoric instead of just Thoric. I like the ogres, but I don't think now was the right time. But what's done is done, and I'm not gonna worry about it. You asked for my opinion, and that's what it was. What do ogres think of the Lizardmen? Not a lot. I mean, ogres don't think much as it is. I think the ogres would just find the Lizardmen to be... I think the ogres would be very fond of the Lizardmen as far as fighting them is concerned, because the Lizardmen would give them a really good fight, and there'd be a lot to eat afterwards. And the ogres are more... And the ogres really like fighting exotic enemies that can give them a lot of trophies, which Lizardmen are perfect for. So I would say they like the Lizardmen very much.
One prevails. Asaurian protects. It is all lesser beings deserve. Master of high magic.
Gotta remember, ogres are not super complicated beings at the end of the day.
They'll suffer the might of suffering.
They are motivated by their tum-tums.
Their lives for coin.
Who would win, an ogre or a Kroxigor? A Kroxigor.
High mage.
A Kroxigor would absolutely curb stomp a regular ogre. You would need something like an Iron Gut or a Man-Eater to deal with a Kroxigor. A regular ogre bull would not win that particular engagement.
Imrik.
The old Crocs are just too tough. Plus, like, a Kroxigor has way better natural weapons than whatever an ogre's got. Even has a meaner bite, to be frank. How powerful was Echoed Hellbrass? I mean, I would say Echoed Hellbrass is probably in the top 10 champions of Tzeentch. Weird dude. Very weird dude. Strong, though. The way he died was kind of funny. Dude literally got killed by random luck, which was, befitting.
Warrior Supreme.
With how big he is on being
March
able to
for
see the
Canada.
future and do a bunch of other shenanigans. Who's Echoed Hellbrass? Echoed Hellbrass is a Chaos Lord of Tzeentch who is really famous for having basically gone on a very big journey across the Chaos Waste and the Realm of Chaos. And he has a very particular mutation where anywhere Hellbrass goes, the earth that he strides over like blooms with bizarre and varied vegetation. So you can like follow the path he takes because there'll just be this line of rapid, bizarre alien plant growth that follows him wherever he goes. Hey people, chill. Thanks so much for the stretch. Oh gosh. Has Imrik ever tried to tame a magma dragon? No. Because magma dragons did not exist until very, very late in Warhammer Fantasy lore.
For Asturian.
So there's not, they don't really show up in the lore. They weren't around for long enough. Good job beating Wurzag, my dear.
Orders.
Dragon Rider.
After a quick head taker. Oh wait, no, you weren't fighting Wurzag. You were fighting a random necromancer. That's right. Probably should not have chased Queek. All right, let's get walls. Get a Shrine of Assurin to counteract some of this necromancy nastiness.
We will endure.
We're so close to some tier 5 stuff.
Lady of the Phoenix Court.
Hold Crookback Peak, no matter what.
We are ill at ease.
Hi, Elven Archmage.
Maybe time for her to start exploring the seas. Just grab a whole bunch of dragons, but I don't want to send her out with sword masters. 4 turns is a lot, though.
Hoeth sees all.
Just do that. Make our life a little easier.
The mountains sing to Imrik.
The rats. The rats. We are the rats. Okay, let's make things better between us and Techless. I can conquer Ulthuan through military alliance, if nothing else. Is the Red Duke active during the time period the old world is set to take place in? Yes. Yes, he is. Well, I don't know if he's active, but he is a vampire by that point. Because the old world takes place after the Crusades. Need to get back into this game? You should. Do I know anything good about Aranessa? Uh-oh.
Can you feel it?
Oh, God!
From the north
Oh,
it comes.
fudge!
The tendrils of chaos spread south.
Chat, what are we gonna
tainting
do?
the lands.
Oh, God, oh, Jesus.
And with it, the warriors of chaos march. We must ready ourselves. The war is coming. But who has brought the warring tribes together? What manner of champion holds that power?
Wrong faction. Thank you for the wall, though. Wrong race, but oh my sweet lord. Well then. The good news is this probably means the northern greenskins are gonna die. Because it's a lot of chaos. Imrik, I think it's time to go north, buddy.
Dragon Prince.
I think we're gonna set up Taneska here to deal with incoming shenanigans, and then I think it is time for us to go north. I fear. I think she's gonna need to be in charge of holding the south. I'll defend. I'll save Karagate Peaks, and then we gotta go. Can I get some lore on Bahamut Beastslayer? Bahamut is not someone I have committed to memory, but I'm gonna add him to my list of things that I will research before next stream, and I'm going to refund you those points. Only thing I remember about Bahamut off the top of my head is that he has a really big sword.
I see the winds.
Other than that, it's all static.
High magic.
Your grammar sucks today. Well, just today? No, I'm kidding. Appreciate you, Hithano.
The dragon shall wake.
I bet he's popular with the ladies.
Ready to serve.
I mean, legit was an English major. Thank you.
You called?
Damn rats. Do I know anything good about Aranessa? Yes, she's an actual mermaid. She's not a mutant. A lot of people think she's a mutated human, and that's not correct. She is actually a different species of creature. She chopped off her own tail. Like, her tail was where her legs were, right? Like, her legs combined into, like, a tail. She chopped them off herself, willingly. And took sawtooth blades from a sawbone fish and impaled them into the bone in her legs so she could walk on land. Because she's basically the Little Mermaid. She's Ariel, but hardcore because Warhammer. Also, she sleeps around a lot. Apparently, she is, like, absolutely insane in bed, according to the Dreadfleet storyline. And her first mate is an ogre. Fun fact. So if you're playing, I will say, if you're playing as Aranessa, getting lots of ogres as part of your crew is absolutely canonical. Because her first mate was an ogre, which I always think is really cool. I did not mean to click that button. What's my favorite hobby, not including Warhammer? Age of Sigmar, just kidding. My favorite hobby outside of Warhammer? What am I up to these days? Probably... I mean, just gaming, really. I mean, I play Hades still a fair bit. I play I've been playing Diablo 2 with my brother to kind of like get set up for the release, which I'm really looking forward to that. Sotek loves his porn. I mean, I can neither deny nor deny this. Take from that what you will. Mind your own damn business. I like to watch TV shows and movies when I can. I spend a lot of time with Chloe. I spend a lot of time taking care of Chloe. Let's see, we got some lore facts here. Are there any is there any chaos character Krokgar could not defeat? Krokgar would probably not be able to kill Archaon the Everchosen. Krokgar would I would be very hesitant to say that Krokgar could kill Kolek Suneater. I think Kolek Suneater would be a very difficult opponent for him. I also think Skarbrand would be a pretty intense fight. I do think it'd be a fair fight though. I don't think it would be like super one-sided. High Elven Archmage. Oh, there's Wurzag. He's right there.
You may look upon me.
So those are probably like the big three that I think he would really struggle with. Archaon the Everchosen, Kolek Suneater, and Skarbrand. I think Krokgar would just lose if he fought Archaon, due to just all the massive shenanigans Archaon has around him. Kolek Suneater, I think Krokgar would definitely be able to hurt him really badly, but I would very much struggle to see him come out on top. Skarbrand, I think it would be a fair fight. Could Krell kill Gor-Rok? Yes. It would be a hell of a fight. That would be a hell of a fight. Who would be the coolest fight for Krokgar? Probably versus Skarbrand. I think Skarbrand versus Krokgar would be probably the most insane fight in the setting. Either versus Skarbrand or Be'lakor. I could see Be'lakor also being really cool. Ah, wounded.
Well, what is it? Do not squander the Dragon Prince's time.
Are we bros now? Oh, you want money? Okay, fine. You're lucky I like you. On his mount? Yes, on his mount. You would need his mount. If you say Krokgar, I'm going to assume you mean as he appears in battle, which means on Grimlock. Like I am making that assumption. I forget. Do I have? Okay, let's do the Greater Invocation of Vol, so I can get a cool magic item. Do the Jewel of Dusk. That'll be perfect for my Archmage.
Hoeth's Disciple. Purest sorcery.
One more time there. Oh, Flayed Rock, max level. Nice! Now I can tell Flayed Rock to focus on gold!
Man's cheered. X100. What's the best place to start if you want to get into the lore?
Timons, my biggest recommendation, if you have a particular faction that you want to learn about, I would change my opinion probably a little bit. But I think the best place for general lore, like to just start learning about the setting and exploring all that jazz, would be Gotrek and Felix. Gotrek and Felix is an absolutely amazing storyline. There's a ton of books. There are 5 omnibi you can buy. Or sorry, there's 6 now. There's 6 omnibi. you can purchase, which are great, and it's just tons and tons and tons of great lore and excellent reading.
Stranger.
There's also
Empire's blessings.
Yes. Time for us to join the Order Tide.
Now, friends of the Empire.
There's
come.
also the what's another good series?
Sigma's will.
Good Drinking Felix is what I would really recommend. AV Pick stream, I told you that I've already written that down, and I will be going over him next stream. I'll do some research on that. Not someone I have committed to memory, I'm afraid.
See the winds.
Egil Steersborn is a, like, I know the name, and I know he's Norskin, and I believe he's Cornate in his affiliation, but, like, King. I just cannot, for the life of me, remember what his deal was. Which I am terribly sorry about that. Ooh, I wouldn't mind some chariots, actually. Who do I think they're going to show off for Warhammer 3? They've already said they're going to show off Cathay. September is Cathay month. Hopefully it'll be like Cathay versus Tzeentch and not just Cathay. Or, like Cathay versus Khorne. They might do that, but I hope they don't. The one you had before was Behemoth Beastslayer? Yeah, I know. But you also brought up Egil Steersborn before that. I know that because I have it written on my little scroll here. Because I already wrote it down.
Princess.
Any characters who have fallen to chaos that redeem themselves? Krizomi, off the top of my head, there is one. The only super famous character I know of who fell to chaos but redeemed themselves was the Iron Reaver. Also known as Lord Mortken. Lord Mortken was a very powerful Chaos Lord who was so strong that he was like a contender for Everchosen. And he led a big invasion of Ostermark to get revenge because the Elector Count of Ostermark, along with a bunch of other Elector Counts in parts of the Empire, did some preemptive raids of Norska because they figured that if they went over to Norska and killed a whole bunch of people, that would stop Norskans from raiding them because they'd be dead or recovering. So they ended up killing everyone in Lord Mortken's tribe, like from his home village, and he got super upset about it. So he got together a massive chaos army, invaded them, brought them to battle at oh god, what was the name of that fort? Brought them to battle at it's a really big fortress. But brought them to battle at one of like the biggest keeps in the Northern Empire, and he successfully got his revenge, killing the son of the Elector Count. And once he had his revenge, he decided, I'm done. Like the Chaos Gods were like, oh yeah, you're going, like keep going, like go plunder the world, make the world your bitch, you know, become a god, be mighty and powerful. And he was like, nah, I'm done. Like I've had my vengeance, and I refuse to be your puppet anymore. I'm done. And he just kind of stood there and let himself be killed by a like he literally just took off his helmet and decided that he was going to die a free man, not owning his souls to the gods of chaos. All right, David, back stream. Have a good night, my dude.
In the presence of the Dragon Prince.
Yeah, he was a pretty baller character. He had a really cool design, too. He was very spiky. Ugh, Skaven invasion's going a little rough, but... Fortunately, I need to be focused on other matters. Really need to focus on wiping out the Greenskins.
But I rule the battlefield.
Lore-wise, is Skrulk OP? Yes, Skrulk is very OP in the lore. Skrulk features as the main antagonist in the very first Thanquol book, Thanquol and Bone Ripper. It's a hilarious book, but one of the really funny parts in it is when Lord Skrulk and Thanquol are fighting. It's absolutely hilarious. But Lord Skrulk is like so deadly that he literally concocts he knows that like Clan Eshin is basically coming to assassinate him. So his response to deal with Clan Eshin is that he basically just brews such a vile potion or a vile disease, and he just sits there and waits for them. So that when they come into the room, all but one of them literally just drop dead. Like they're like, just by getting too close to him and they breathe in this disease he's concocted, it results in them all just literally choking to death, and like their lungs melt into like black goo and they just die horribly. All of them. Except for one, and Lord Skrulk's like, hey, I've got the antidote. Like I could give you a little thing right here that would make you immune and make it where you don't die, but you work for me now. Like he just effortlessly deals with Clan Eshin like they're a joke. Can Skrulk beat all the Dawi lords? No, there are characters among the Dawi who would threaten Lord Skrulk. Thorgrim would absolutely body Lord Skrulk, especially on the Throne of Power. On the Throne of Power, Skrulk could not do jack shit to Thorgrim, and Thorgrim would absolutely beat the shit out of him. Also, Thoric Ironbrow. Thoric Ironbrow versus Skrulk would be like a battle of the ages. Because those two would be slinging around some hefty magical craziness. Where's that just casually kills Khalida and runs away? Pay me, human. Pay me more. Pay me more. Pay me more. Pay me more. Okay, there we go. I was a little worried that was going to keep going. Oh my good God. That's a lot of chaos, lads. I like the 3 Empire armies that are like, oh, we got this, right, guys? Guys?
What have I done to deserve discourse with one so lowly? Relish this chance to look upon your...
I've never seen an invasion that big. Well, I have the Chaos invasion setting turned on Legendary, so it's at the highest it can go. And it's, pretty impressive. Pretty impressive.
Glory awaits.
Wurzag, you big bitch, get back here.
We stand against the darkness, Lady of the Phoenix Court. We lie in wait.
Safari's servant.
Almost there. Nearly have enough. So I can start getting your sword masters. Have Skrulk and Ikit Claw ever fought? Not that I'm aware of.
Squander the Dragon Prince's time.
Yo, let's do it. The Order Tide has assembled. I don't mind the Order Tide, but I really wish they would make a Destro Tide to like counter it. Because the whole thing with the Order Tide, right, is that the AI has it programmed where when Chaos spawns, all of the Order factions are supposed to get like they're much more willing to set aside their differences and ally up. They just need to do the same thing with like Chaos. Make it where like Skaven, Warriors of Chaos, Norska, at least those 3 team up. And then maybe have like all of the undead team up too. Oh my good god, this is gonna be hilarious. It's just a lot. It's just an army of goblins. With Grimgor's leading out the emergency crew. What faction do I hate the most playing against? Skaven. Oh my god, he's got 1 unit of orcs. Oh, Grimgor would be so angry if that was actually the army he was running around with. He would genuinely be enraged. That is like literal torture for him. It's so funny. Good thing I've got a dragon to kill Grimgor with, otherwise I think I'd actually, I don't know, I'd be struggling to bring him down more than likely. He doesn't have any calves, so...
Eagle Claw. By Alariel.
Princess of Althwan. Understood.
It does have archers, though.
Quickly now. The Grey. Onward.
It's still weird seeing Snotling pump wagons animated.
Orders received.
Forward! Dragon, kill him.
Guide my bow. It is done. For order.
Eagle Claw. Death to all. For duty without fail.
For Assyrian.
Pull back.
With haste. St. Louis.
Silver Helms, fall back! Don't fight them with the wall going!
Princess of Althwan.
We're elves, fight dirty!
What orders?
Fall back! Fall back! Keep firing! Keep firing! Grimgor versus Tarax? I genuinely think Grimgor would probably kill Tarax. And that would be a great fight, though. That'd be another one of those ones that would just be really fun.
Agreed.
Orders received. Silver Helms.
Charge!
Eagle Claw. We will obey. For the king.
Princess of Althwan. It shall be. Slay them.
The Grey. Aurea.
Loyal! It shall be done!
Back on your engines, lads.
Silver Helms.
Blech.
For order!
As you say!
It will be done.
Brilliant Reavers are doing work.
shall be done.
Good job, beasties. With me. I think we might do that for the next Who Would Win? Chakax versus Grimgor? That's a really fun one.
Storm Riders, without fail. As you say. Heralds of the wind. Hussar, forward. Moving up. Storm Riders, for order! Hussar, attack! Loyal. The grave.
Princess of Albion.
Oh my god.
At your
Yeah, Riverbow's fun.
Cannon is brave. Loyal.
Alright, all that's left is Grimgor Asshide. Let's do this.
Heralds of the wind.
For Albion. Princess of Albion. Elfry.
Single shot! Open fire! How did Dirthu's face get messed up? Dwarfs. White Knight, thanks so much for coming to the stream. Glad you could make it, buddy. Good to see you. They're the dwarves after the War of Vengeance were super angry at elves just existing. And one of the consequences of that was that they knew there were elves like hiding out around Athel Loren and stuff. So the dwarves pursued them, and they also, you know, wanted to harvest a lot of the natural resources of Athel Loren for their forges and stuff. So there was a bunch of wars and battles between Athel Loren and I just missed. Between Athel Loren and the Dawi of the mountains. Whoa!
Moving out.
I'm still faster than you.
Princess of Albion. Oriole. By your will.
Acknowledge. We will obey. Storm Riders.
With cadet.
Yeah, Dirthu took a really ugly axe to the face.
Princess of Albion. I concur.
For duty. Draw back.
Bring him down, bring him down! Down he goes, covered in ice. Nice, Lone Sparrow. What are you working on? Don't mind me asking. My lack of magic disturbing. Yeah, I'll get a wizard at some point.
Put them in fetters.
Wurzag, would you quit? Little turd. Oh, Malagor's dead. For now, anyway. Oh, I gotcha. Was Prague doomed? He looks pretty doomed. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. I'm sure Frog will be fine. Totally fine. No problems. Oh, there's some over in Nagaroth? Oy.
Well, what is it? Do not squander the Dragon Prince's time.
Oh, we got the Cloak of Beards. Nice. Hide Striker.
Imrik.
Very little pain in the ass.
Let us wake the dragons.
None of your crap.
This way.
Ooh, the Van Braces of Defense. Very nice.
Pride of Ulswine.
Max level Imrik! Oh, wait, no. Master Strategist. Nice. That is one big check mark done. Red Rock is getting to level 5. Very nice.
Standing by.
Karakazul, I guess we'll keep upgrading a little bit.
Princess of the Asur, to battle! Asur, to battle! Hold the captives. Protector of Ulthuan.
Alright, and thanks to the princess, we have recaptured Mount Silverspear.
We bring order.
It is back under our control.
Orders?
Well done. Ganeshka.
Master of high magic. Master.
One turn left. You know, there's a. I know I've got like a wizard thing over here somewhere. Red Rock has a pig barter. I'll wait till I get level 5. Then I can get like a really sexy wizard for my cab army.
What do you require?
Oh, you're back.
Their life is forfeit.
Nice. Cha!
Explain your alien needs. Calador will at least listen.
Straight to military alliance? Not even taking me out to dinner first? Alright. Oh, Mazabundi's so close to being dead.
Indeed, to have the ear of
Tehenuin! The Lizardmen are all coming out of the woodwork now. And Dark Elves. Aldrich, have a great night, dude. Thanks so much for coming by. It was great to see you. Surprised the sisters are still alive.
I will not remember you once I have slain you.
Yeah, no, you're on your own, dear fun. Silostra, dear fun. How do y'all feel about Silostra? Are y'all fans?
My glory.
With her being kind of like the first CA original character? They did a good job with her, I think. I don't like playing her, but she's fine as a character. That's fair. Painfully average, really. I mean, she is the only ethereal character in the game. I prefer my undead with scraps of meat on them. Well, I think it is fitting to have at least one ghost.
I await your command.
But then again, I may be super biased because my favorite army in AOS is an all ghost army, so I have different priorities. Yeah, I don't think chaos is gonna get to me through those mountains. Gosh, I kind of want to go north to help the dwarves finish off the greenskins, but hopefully I don't need to do that, so I can just focus on the Skaven.
Prince of Calador. Sent forth by Ball.
Find my harem.
Oh baby. Oh baby, Tower of Mages. Can I please have Swordmasters now?
I see the wind.
Yes! Swordmasters!
Safary's servant.
Freaking finally, dude. Weird addition to the Coast Pack to elaborate. I mean, the Coast Pack in and of itself was a weird pack. Like, just its existence was kind of weird.
Master of Drakes.
I mean, it was nice of them to include the Dreadfleet guys, considering that the Dreadfleet has nothing to do with the Vampire Coast. Like, they're completely unassociated entities.
Wisdom.
Oh, I could have a noble. I want a Loremaster though. Oof, medic. Wow, that's super sexy. Wow, 15% upkeep reduction. Oh, 20% physical resistance and unbreakable. Oh, those are all really good. Exhilarated. Holy shit. Wow, look at that guy. 25% chance to get magic item. Yeah, 25% bonus chance to get a magic item. Plus 12 hero defense for phoenixes for some reason. Income from post-battle loot is 25%. Oh, God. Oh, God. Yeah, next month is Cathay. Cathay month is coming.
What do you seek?
Okay, I'm going to take you.
Boundless wisdom.
And then I want Frugal.
You have my attention.
Archmage.
Son.
That'll make our army substantially better and not just absolutely slapping my face
Asur Princess.
or my bank every 2 seconds. Here, you can have the Resilient Noble. Though I really feel like you should have a handmaiden, not a noble. Yeah, we'll wait for a handmaiden. Because I prefer a handmaiden for like running around doing cavalry stunts. Yeah, there will be a trailer, absolutely. Dude, for Cathay, they're going to roll out the red carpet for Cathay. Cathay is going to be a whole big event. Like, it is going to be a huge deal. How different are the Dreadfleet from the coast? Like, different goals are just completely different. They're just totally different, like, groups. The Vampire Coast never met the Dreadfleet and vice versa. Like, Count Noctilus never went to the Vampire Coast. Luther Harkin was never aware of the Dreadfleet, never dealt with them. Luther Harkin just minded his own business on Lustria. That's all he ever did. Yeah, the ocean is gigantic in Warhammer Fantasy.
the ear of Prince Imrik.
I don't want to deal with you. Are ogres confirmed for launch, though? Basically. The ogres are 99.99999999999% confirmed. This I have told you this, and my words are prophetic. Only on this particular issue. Trust me, chat.
Hoeth's disciple.
I will share my experience.
High Elven Archmage. I wield the winds.
They are under my protection.
Alright, next turn, this army is
Master of
finally
high
ready to
magic.
march to war. Finally.
Infused by Hoeth's wisdom.
You know what, though? I'm actually going to get rid of the
Elven
Keepers of the
Archmage.
Flame and get Spearmen instead. For that ward save. We are going to be making a Phoenix Guard army in the near future, though. Christian, I have no idea what you're talking about, dude. What if it was Chaos Dwarfs all along?
Gaze upon my glory.
I mean, I wouldn't say I wouldn't be upset. Like, y'all have to remember, there's no losing in my scenario, right? Like, it doesn't matter what order they come in, or like what really they do. Like, I am going to be on the winning side, and I'm going to be happy. Yes, Grimgor's Ard Boys are dead. Oh, thank God. That's a huge check mark. Wait, hear me out. Hear me out. Pygmies immediately shot in the head.
Tradition is maintained. Calador wakes.
The Spiffing Brit, I can't recall his tactics, though he likes to exploit the AI and stuff like that, so I guess full chariot army is something of the sorts. Well, I mean, if you took a all chariot army right now, I believe there are some significant shenanigans that could be pulled. Let's go take Spike Peak. You certainly could make a mess if you wanted to. Oh, General Kenobi. I freaking loved General Grievous, dude. That is like one of my favorite character designs out there. He's such a badass model. Model? Design.
Asor Sorcerer.
Alright, it's time for us to go to war. We own all of Ulthuan. Yes, we do. And we've got a military alliance with everybody on Ulthuan. Yes, we do. So we are off to go fight the Dark Elves, I guess. Actually, we could take the fight to Count Noctilus and deal with him. Yeah, let's do that.
I wield the wind.
Let's take the fight to the Galleon's graveyard.
I serve the Phoenix King. Give the word.
Yeah, Grievous is amazing. He was used criminally, especially when they put him in the cartoon and they made him into like a legit terrifying badass. Where he's just like murdering Jedi left and right like it's not even hard. It's just like, damn, Grievous! Calm down! If Dark Elves went extinct for one of many plausible reasons, how would the world change? The oceans would be a lot safer. Nagaroth would probably be taken over by beastmen, for the most part. And chaos invasions of Lustria would become much more common. Also, chaos invasions of Ulthuan would probably become much more common, as they would be launching off from where it would just be bad. Like, as much as the Dark Elves are super annoying, they do actually prevent chaos from sweeping south as much as they would like. All hail the mighty, he's arisen from the deep.
You may look upon me. The dragons.
Oh, this will be fun. This will just be fun because it's just going to be orc corpses flying everywhere. Is it with tattered sails? I think it's wind tattered sails, right? Or is it with? Will CA ever beat the Vampire Coast trailer? Probably not. That was a damn good trailer. It is with.
Prince Imrik.
Good to know. I was just curious.
Fireball. It shall be done.
I don't know why I put a bolt thrower in this army. It was dumb. I'll get rid of it and replace it with a dragon at some point.
Assur Noble.
Understood.
I'd like to get this army to where it's like all fast-moving stuff.
White Lions.
With like maybe just Sisters of Avalorn backing it up. Or maybe Shadow Warriors.
Calador's chosen. A superior vantage. Phoenix Sun.
Really? You're gonna fireball a dragon? Cool story, bro. You know the drill, lads. Roast them.
They die!
And then it's smashing time.
Wielder of the winds.
Everybody join in! Dragon Princes. Make sure that little army never reaches us. Oh, look at this. Choke on this!
Winds of magic rise!
Behold the majestic! Fury of the Forge God!
Cool story, orcs. When in doubt, more fire.
The glory of Imrik.
Following Egrimm. Scython, hear me!
Light of the volcano.
Awaiting orders.
Wait.
Bend to my will!
I didn't have a very good angle. There we go.
Winds of magic rise!
Any cool lore on Squeal Gnawtooth? I mean, he's kind of like a superhero, sort of, among the Skaven. In that he kind of like has like legit superpowers like you would expect from like a comic book character. In that he's like naturally attuned to the beasts. Because like in Skavendom, it's generally accepted that like all of the beasts are just giant wild monsters that can't be controlled. But Squeal Gnawtooth, like ever since he was little, he's always had like just kind of a relationship with the rats, where they like follow him around as this giant tide of vermin. And whenever someone tries to like hurt or threaten Squeal Gnawtooth, like a swarm of little rats would just come like racing out of the sewers or somewhere in Skavendom and would like just swarm around whoever it was and just drag them screaming into the depths to be eaten alive. You know, just crazy shit like that. Oh. You know, nice stuff like that. Scary power? Yes. It's noted that the only creature he cannot control is the Hell Pit Abominations. Like, the Hell Pit Abominations are just so completely out of their minds and insane that he cannot, he can't, like, connect with them and control them. Like he can rat ogres and all the other stuff.
I claim it for Calador.
Yeah, top knots are destroyed. Another horde of greenskins put to flight. Or death, rather.
Noble son of Ulthuan. Honorably done.
Okay, the dwarves are fighting the Skaven.
Can I offer assistance?
Mount Silver Spear looks secured. The orcs are dead in the north, so the only thing north of us now are the vampires, which are not really my problem. Wow, the Empire just owns, like, everything. The vampires are all gone. Alright, Tenetska is basically going to be like our northern guard.
We are the guardians of
while I push back against the Lizardmen.
Master of high magic. Set sail!
The Chaos gods, similar to the Cthulhu mythos old gods, they have a little bit in common with them. Tzeentch, in particular, definitely wears a lot of his Cthulhu-esque influence on his sleeve, but not really. I would actually say that the Beasts of Chaos have a bit of Lovecraftian influence based on his literature. Morgur is very reminiscent of one of Lovecraft's characters. But the Dark Gods, to my understanding, the Dark Gods are almost directly ripped from a fantasy author by the name of Moorcock, who is like one of the OG dark fantasy writers.
I tire of you already.
God, I hate the Celestial Storm.
A moment can be spared, but no more.
The lore and accuracy of that faction makes me super salty.
High mage.
And I will never forget,
Land.
I had the opportunity to discuss that sub-faction with, I think his name was Sam. And I think he was either the game head or he had some high up development position. I can't remember if he was just in charge of the entirety of game 1 or if he was only in charge of like a small element of it. But I remember talking to him about the Celestial Storm, and I was like, because he was like, "Oh, is there anything in the game that you like you don't like you're worried about or concerned about?" I was like, "Yeah, the Celestial Storm sub-faction is like it's pretty inaccurate as a lore thing. Like you have dragon ogres literally fighting side by side with lizardmen. That's completely absurd." And he was like, "Oh, no. Like, no, we did all our research and everything's lore accurate." And I was like, "No, it's not." And he's like, "Yeah, I can assure you it is." I was like, "Really?" Because like, okay, like what book is it? Can you just give me a book? Like, I'll find the page. Just give me a book. And he was like, "Oh, maybe we can talk later."
You have my attention.
Oh, I remember being so salty about that. I was like, "It's an abomination!" What is this? What is this insult? I don't care if you put it in the game because you just think it's cool, but don't fucking lie to my face and say it's lore accurate.
The most gifted.
You bastard. I ain't stupid. I ain't gonna fall for it. I was more meek back then, though. I mean, that was many years ago. Right before Total War Warhammer 2 came out. Damn it, Bobby! Have I ever tried the Mixus Legendary Lord Pack? There's a lot in that. I fully intend to try out Mixus in the near future because I definitely want to do like, I don't know about doing it every week, but maybe like every 2 weeks, like at least once a month. At least once a month. I really want to start having like mod nights. As far as like modding Total War Warhammer 2 and trying out like different mods that the community really likes and seeing like what all the hubbub's about. Oh, hey Chloe, come here. Chat, look who's here. Look who's here. Oh, what are you doing, princess?
The power and the glory.
What are you doing, princess? Huh? You just hanging out? You just hanging out? Oh, I gotta go shut the door she opened. Stay right there. Hey, stay right there.
Skaven, scurry, and hide.
What are you doing, you goof? What are you doing, you goof? Come here, Chloe. Come here. You have to make a mess? Hmm? You look tired, pumpkin. This is Chloe. I don't know if any. We've actually had quite a few people following today, so you may have never met her. This is Chloe. She's the channel mascot. For anyone that's actually a fan of Total War Warhammer, you can actually play as me and Chloe. That's a fun fact.
I smell the rodent's fear.
Not everyone knows that about this
Your
game.
command?
Me and Chloe are actually represented as the
Skaven, scurry, and hide.
if you play as Oxiodal from the newest DLC, he starts with a skink oracle that is me and Chloe. Because I think it's the Oracle of the Sacred Plaques is me, which is the little skink on top, and then he rides on the Troglodyte Chloe, CH''LOE, and that's obviously this furball. Can I lay down? On the green screen? Cool. Oh, is it the? Oh, it's the Keeper of the Sacred Plaques. Well, I don't remember. I don't remember shit. Where are you going? Oh, she's going under the paint desk. Silly goose.
Your aid.
I love that damn dog. I'll tell y'all what, chat. Oh, that's right. Yeah, the trait he has is Loremaster. That's right.
Asur sorcerer.
Oh god, how close can I get without it hurting me?
Sail on by sea.
Yeah.
Set sail.
We can spring the attack on Galleon's graveyard.
Glory awaits.
We're holding the north,
Princess.
okay.
Preparing camp.
I already got really everything I want you to have at the moment. Would you like you to have more? Oh, you didn't get your chariots. Dang. Get those moving.
The Asur are ageless.
Yeah, they're ageless. Hurts. Isles really do seem like they would just be insufferable to deal with. I mean, honestly. Hey, Holy Artist 95, thanks so much for doing the Ola Skink redeem. Welcome to the stream, and I hope you're having a great night, dude. Thank you for being here. Have any, for those of y'all that have played with my character that Creative Assembly was so kind to put in for me, what y'all think? Would you be pompous if you were 500 years old? I don't think I'd be pompous. I'd probably be an asshole, but I don't think I'd be pompous. I think if anything, I'd just be tired.
Your request. I will dispatch them.
Nice, good job. Great assassination there. Clap, 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 clap.
It'll be
All right, let's recapture. Actually, yeah, we'll take care of Hades.
Under my rule.
Show the dwarves how to actually maintain property since they're so bad at it. Silly Dawi. Okay, we're looking good. Looking good.
Gifted advisor. Row, Asur.
Oh god, the attrition damage. Oh, it's painful. Oh, sweet mother of mercy. Everything hurts. This was a mistake. I think he should be immortal from the start, but other than that, it's a well-balanced character with some lore to it. Oh, well, that's cool. You think he's balanced? I think the Seeker of the Sacred Plaques is anything but balanced. he's super overpowered, I think, which I'm totally cool with. I just find it funny. It's like, ah, yes, an all-chameleon skink army. What buff should we give them? 10% speed? It's like, what? That's kind of a lot. Like, they're already really fast and obnoxious. Hey, 1307, I guess, is that what your name is? Thank you for the hydrate. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank the gods.
Good lord, did they increase the attrition here? This is like nightmarish.
Master of high magic. I know my destination.
Thank God we took like all healing characters. Oh, this is so pretty. We're actually like securing this area.
I know the way.
It warms my cuckolds. I'm gonna pretend that's a word. Pretty sure it's a word. I think it's a word.
The dragon shall wake.
Alright, next up, Western Badlands.
For Calador! Calador's champion.
We ride! We're gonna ask the dwarfs to go south.
I await your command.
Okay, so... Ooh, max level port. Let's get a... Gosh darn it. Well, I really want that max level dragon building. I need it. I need it! It's a word, but I think you used it wrong. Yes. Probably. I know there's a word close to what I said that meant what I was trying to say. But I don't remember what it is. Or maybe I'm just an idiot. That's also a distinct possibility.
We have shaped
to be fair. Cockles. Ah, cockles. Thank you. That was what I was trying to say. Listen, I just do Warhammer shit, okay? everything else is a total toss-up.
Relish this chance to look upon your better.
Sure. No Way Home trailer's officially out? Oh, that's cool. Good to know. Good to know. Man, a ton of people followed today. Really appreciate everyone showing up. Glad y'all are enjoying some stuff. Oh, also, just a heads up. Everyone, for those who care. So sometimes we stream, like, you know, non-Warhammer stuff. I'm going to be starting my first ever playthrough of The Witcher 3 on Wednesday.
My loyalty is rewarded.
At, should be at 10 a.m. CST. 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. I have never played a Witcher game. I know they're apparently good, but I've never played it. So if that sounds like something that you want to see, then by all means, please make sure you don't miss that.
Imrik. Seeking glory.
Taskmaster. Oh, do I not have the... I don't.
Calador's magic unbound.
Yeah, I am looking forward to it. Like, I mean, it's a pretty legendary game. To a frankly absurd degree. Tomb Kings are looking a little dicey. Okay, so as far as like short-term victory goes, the only thing I have left to do is take the Western Badlands, and that's it. Once we take the Western Badlands, which are just these two settlements, we will have won the short campaign. Now for the long campaign, we need to control all of Ulthuan in the Western Badlands, kill the Skaven, have 2 more dragons, and that's it. So we're actually super duper close to finishing this campaign.
This will be child's play.
So all we've got to do is take these 2 settlements and we're done with the short campaign. We'll have to talk about whether or not we want to like go for certain story objectives. Because we can absolutely do that as far as like, you know, defeating the Dark Elves or whatever. Or we could just be like long campaign or short campaign and let's move on to the next one. But that'll be a good thing for next time. Thank you all so much for joining me today.